A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Well, the Aces radio was out of order last night, and they thought they had missed Jane's singing protege making his first appearance on radio. But at the last moment, he had been canceled. Not knowing this, Jane, Mr. Race, and Marge called the radio station to say how much they had enjoyed the singer. This episode takes place the following afternoon in two scenes. Mr. Race's office, and then to the radio station. But first to Mr. Race. Jane has just entered. Listen.
Well, what brings you downtown today?
Business? Oh, I'm so excited.
What happened?
Well, wait till you hear. You know where I'm on my way now?
No, I don't.
To the radio station. That Mr. Joyce called me up this morning and said he wanted me to be there at 3 o'clock. They're going to have an audition for Caruso, and they think they might be able to give him a regular job.
Audition for whom?
He wouldn't tell. All he said he could tell me is that the man owns a chain of shoe stores, and he's looking for somebody to sing on the radio. And they told him about Caruso, and he said he'd like to hear him. And they want me to be there to talk business.
Oh, you talking business. That should be interesting.
Isn't it? Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, suppose you calm down a minute and give me an idea just how much you know about this business of selling a singer for radio.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they'll probably ask you how much you want for the boy. What are you going to say?
How much will you give?
Oh, you're going to ask them how much they'll give.
Well, I certainly won't say first how much we want. I'll make him say first.
Oh, I see, and you'll work around that.
Yes.
Have you any idea how much it'll be?
Well, not till I talk to him. I'll get enough. Don't worry. You know me.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Caruso's rehearsing now. After we hear him, we'll talk business, Mr. Joyce said.
That is, if this shoe man will like him.
Who?
Oh, didn't you just say it was a shoe store owner?
Oh, yes. He owns a chain of shoe stores.
I see. Well, I'd like to give you some advice, Jane.
All right.
This is just a friendly suggestion, you understand?
Oh, I understand, dear. You can be suggestive. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, first, don't talk too much.
Yes, don't talk. What do you mean by that?
I mean, just let them talk. You do most of the listening.
Now, just a minute. That has all the earmuffs of a dirty dig.
No, Jane, I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, yes, you did. You don't have to hit me on the head with a crowbar to make me catch on. Not hard, anyhow.
But all I said was that all you have to do is listen, because you don't know a lot about the radio business. You don't even know what salary to ask for, do you? And if you want my advice, you'll take whatever they offer you. But whatever he makes will come in very handy, because he wants to study voice some more. Well, he can have the money now to pay for that while he works, you see?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so whatever they offer, don't go turning it down. After all, the boy's starting at the bottom, you know.
Yes, I guess Oh, that's cute, dear, starting at the bottom with shoes. You get it?
Yes, that's very funny.
Yes. Well, I'm not joking around. Yes, he is starting at the bottom, but he'll work up. Who knows? Someday he might sing for Hat.
Yes, he might sing for Hat.
I understand what you mean, dear. I won't ask him for too much.
That's the idea.
Isn't it exciting? Imagine, only 2 weeks ago he was a poor orphan. And now, all of a sudden, he's going on the radio and making a lot of money and sitting on Pretty Street.
All right, now, Jane, don't get carried away with it. After all, it hasn't happened yet, you know.
Oh, I know. I'm counting my eggs here
before he lays them.
Yes. But Mr. Joyce sounded just as excited as I am, so I know there's something to it.
Well, I hope so, for the kid's sake.
Yes, isn't he sweet?
Yes, he's sweet, all right. I hope he's good when he sings for this man this afternoon.
Oh, he will be. Don't worry about that. Anybody that can sing as high as he does without getting red in the face, well, that's what I call.
I know, Jane. It's too bad they haven't television, in Technicolor, too, so listeners can see he doesn't get red in the face.
Yes, isn't it a shame?
Yes. Well, you better get going. It's 2:30.
Yes, I guess I'd better. Well, wish me luck.
Good luck, Jane.
Well, thanks, dear. I'll call you up right after I sign the contract.
All right.
Well, I'm off.
Yes, Jane, I know. Goodbye.
Goodbye, dear.
Won't you sit here, Mr. Brandel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Joyce. Now, about this singer, Mr. Joyce, you say he's never been on a program before.
No, sir, he hasn't, but...
Well, I don't know about hiring amateurs for this program of ours.
But that's just the point, Mr. Brandel. A new voice, somebody they haven't been hearing all these years. Fresh talent. You get the idea?
Yes, there's something in that.
And wait till you hear him sing. Beautiful voice. We can build a most effective program around him. Wait till you hear the audition, and then we'll talk business.
This boy, who handles him?
Well, that's the story I want to tell you. He's an orphan who was discovered by a Mrs. Ace.
I see.
She's looking after his business interests. I phoned her to be here for the audition. We'll put it on the minute she gets here.
Well, I hope she isn't hard to do business with. We need this advertising to start as soon as possible.
I understand, and we're just as anxious. Well, here she is now. Come in, Mrs. Ace.
Oh, hello, Mr. Joyce.
Good afternoon. May I present Mr. Brandell?
How do you do, Mrs. Ace?
Oh, pleased to meet your acquaintance.
Mr. Brandell represents the dependable shoe store chain.
Oh, I see.
Joyce tells me you have quite a singer, Mrs. Ace.
I'll say the world. Wait till you hear him.
How about now, Mrs. Ace?
Well, no sooner said the better. I'm ready. Where do we go?
We can hear him right here. I'll phone down to the studio and have it plugged right in here. Excuse me, sir.
Are you looking after this boy, Mrs. Ace?
Yes, I'm his manager.
Tell them ready for that audition as soon as they are.
There's quite an interesting story back of him. You found him in an orphanage, I understand.
Yes, sir. He was...
Okay. Well, we'll soon hear what we shall hear. Oh, Mrs. Ace,
Yes?
I took the liberty of putting a chorus of voices back of him.
Beg pardon?
I put a chorus of voices around him just to give Mr. Brandell an idea of the kind of program we can build around the boy as the central figure. Of course, this is just to give you an idea of the boy's voice, Mr. Brandell. No trimmings, just the music.
Yeah, I understand.
Are we going to hear it now?
In just a moment, when that red light shows up there. Ah, there it is. Here we go. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Ave Maria, gratia plena, Domino, Domino, tecum, benedictato in mulieribus, et benedictus, benedictus, fructus ventris tui, Ave Maria.
Oh, that was beautiful.
How did you like it, Mr. Brandell?
Well, I'm afraid it's going to be all right.
Oh, don't be afraid. It is all right. Did you hear him? He was the one that was the loudest.
Yes, Mr. Brandell knows that.
There were so many of them. I want to be sure he
Yeah, I
heard.
understand, Mrs. Ace. I like him. He'll do.
Of course, we'll build a whole program around him. A half-hour show once a week. Isn't that the idea?
That's it.
We'll have to figure up a theme song of some sort. Have you anything in mind, Mr. Brandell?
Well, no, not just offhand. How about you, Mrs. Ace?
It was beautiful.
Yes, we're agreed on that. We're talking about a theme song for the program.
You know, something that starts the program off. Identifies it.
Oh, yes, the theme song.
Have you any ideas, Mrs. Ace?
Well, oh, I know. How about if he sings Hello, and then he says, hello, everybody.
No, Mrs. Ace. I'm afraid not. That's being done already.
Yes, I know, and it's very popular.
That's just the point.
Well, he'll be popular, too, if he does it.
No, Mrs. Ace, you don't
I
understand.
think, if I may offer a suggestion, some sort of music at the start of the program rather than somebody singing. Music by an orchestra.
Yes, that's always good, Mr. Brandell. Have you any particular song in mind?
Well, not just offhand, no.
Oh, I know what'll be a good song. How about the Star-Spangled Banner?
No, I'm afraid not, Mrs. Ace.
Somebody else doing that, too?
No, not that I know of, but it just doesn't fit this program.
No, it doesn't fit, Mrs. Ace.
Oh, I think it does. You see, here's the idea. I just thought of it. First, the orchestra plays the Star-Spangled Banner. Then everybody listening has to stand up, you know. Then the announcer says, now that you're standing up while we're playing the Star-Spangled Banner, wouldn't your feet feel better if they were wearing a pair of Mr. Brandel's shoes?
Oh, I see what you're driving at. But,
no, Mrs. Ace, I'm afraid not.
Well, I think it's perfect for this program. You said the other doesn't fit, but this does, especially the shoes. Maybe I didn't explain it very good.
Well, we'll attend to that in due time, Mrs. Ace. We can leave that to our program department. I think what we better concentrate on here is the business part of the deal.
All right.
Yes, I want the boy for a 13-week contract.
13 weeks?
Yes.
Oh, no, not 13. That's unlucky.
But, Mrs. Ace, all radio programs operate on a 13-week schedule.
Oh, no, I'll take 12 or 14, but not 13 weeks.
But that's the way they do business here.
I don't care. I'm not going to have that boy start off with 13 strikes on him. Nothing good, Mrs.
Well, Jane's going to be a tough manager, we can see that. But at any rate, the 17-year-old often gets his start. And we learn more about it when next we meet the Easy Ace.
Countdown for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire! From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight, the science fiction classic, Knock, by Frederick Brown. Tonight we have a strange story to tell. A sweet, blood-curdling little story that is really only 2 sentences long. The last man on earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. What's that?
Good morning, man.
What? Who are you?
You have regained consciousness.
Who are you?
I am Zan.
I'm still asleep, I must be.
You are not asleep.
Maybe if I close my eyes, it'll go away.
I will not go away, man.
No. I guess I'm awake. What are you?
I am a Zan.
What's that?
A Zan is intelligent life.
Look, I don't... What happened? Where are you from?
From Planet 7 in the 3rd galaxy in the 4th quadrant.
Where?
It is not necessary to repeat information which is correct in the original statement.
Planet 7, but... You mean I'm not on Earth?
You are still on your planet.
Then what are you doing here?
The Zans have annexed your world.
You mean you've conquered Earth?
Yes, that is correct. We will now prepare your planet for habitation by the Zan.
How about the people? What about the population of the world?
You are the population of the world.
Hmm? Now, wait a minute. I can't... I don't understand what's happened.
The Zan have landed on your planet. We have removed the lower life forms to prepare for colonization by the Zan.
When did all this happen?
2 days ago. You have been unconscious until now.
You really mean I'm the last man on Earth?
That is correct. Identify yourself now.
What?
Kindly provide data as to your position in the elementary social order of your planet.
Oh. I'm Walter Phelan, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Nathan University. How do you speak English?
We have deciphered your written and recorded records. It is not difficult to reconstruct your language. It is a primary type of auditory communication.
Oh.
Is there anything you want to complete your natural habitat?
You mean I'm a prisoner?
That is correct. What will you want further in your room?
Do I have to stay here?
Yes.
The rest of my life?
Forever.
You better bring me my books.
That will be done.
That's rather considerate of you. You know, I've got to call you something. Do you mind if I call you George?
It is immaterial. I will be back, Associate Professor of Anthropology.
Oh, that's all right, George. Just call me Walter.
Very well, Walter. I will be back with your books.
All right, George. I'll be seeing you around.
You will not be around, Walter. You will be here.
Come in. Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Walter.
Wait a minute. You're not George. You're different somehow.
It makes no difference. The Sun are many, and they are one.
Then I'll call you George, too. I'll call you old George. What can I do for you?
Point one. You will please henceforth sit with your chair facing the other way.
Uh-huh. I thought so, George. That plain wall is different from the other side, isn't it?
That is correct. It is transparent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm in a zoo, right?
That is correct.
How many other animals do you have in the zoo, George?
216.
Not complete, George. Even a Bush League zoo could beat that. Did you just pick at random?
Yes. All species would have been too many. Male and female, each of 108 kinds.
Male and female, huh? Of all the animals?
There is a female of your species among the collection.
Anyone I know? Well, never mind. It doesn't matter anyway. Well, what do you feed us all, eh?
For carnivorous species, we make synthetics. The flora was not hurt by the vibrations which destroyed animal life.
Oh, nice for the flora. Well, George, you started out with point one. I deduce there is a point two kicking around somewhere. What is it?
Something we do not understand.
Oh?
Two of the other animals sleep and do not wake. They are cold.
Don't worry, George. It happens in the best regulated zoos.
What is wrong with them, Walter?
Nothing much. They're just dead.
Dead?
Mm-hmm.
That means stopped. But nothing stopped them. Each was alone.
Well, maybe they just died of old age.
Old age? I do not understand.
You don't? Well, how old are you, George?
Your planet went around the sun about 7,000 times since I was born.
7,000 years?
Yes, I am still young.
Yeah, babe in arms. Look, George, you've got something to learn about this planet you've hijacked. Here on Earth, we've got somebody you don't know where you come from. An old man with a beard and an hourglass and a scythe. Your vibrations didn't kill him.
What is he?
Oh, old man Death. Down here, our people and animals live until somebody, the Grim Reaper, stops them.
He will stop more?
Well, he gets us all, George. With your lifespan, it won't seem like a minute and we'll all be gone. Looks like you made a mistake, George. And I don't think there's much you can do about it.
That is not correct. The Zan is a logical being. We will take action.
Oh, George, where are you taking me?
We will be there shortly. We will bring your books and your chair.
You mean my lease is up?
I do not understand.
It's moving day?
That is correct. We are here now. You will live here now, Walter. It is a larger room.
Well, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
Go inside.
Oh, be careful with those books, George. Don't lose my... Oh, excuse me.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I guess George didn't explain. George tries to be polite, but he hasn't quite caught on yet. I'm Walter Phelan.
My name is Grace Evans, Mr. Phelan. What's all this about? Why did they bring me here?
I think I know why, but let's go back a bit. Do you know just what has happened otherwise?
No, not exactly.
Well, I've been talking to George.
George?
Well, that's what I call them, all of them. There's no way to tell them apart anyway. There aren't many of them here yet. They come from outside the solar system, sort of an advanced scouting party.
I saw their spaceship. It's as big as a mountain.
Yeah, they're moving in on us. They cleaned off the Earth with some kind of vibration. It destroys all sorts of animal life. I don't know whether they did it all at once or if they had to circle the Earth a few times, but they killed everybody.
No. I was afraid
The cheerful note is that you and I and 200-odd other animals were picked up beforehand as specimens for the zoo. You do know this is a zoo, don't you?
I suspected it. But I don't remember anything about being captured. I just woke up here.
Well, my hunch is they used the vibrations just low enough to knock us all out. And then they cruised around, picking up samples at random. When they were all set, they turned the juice on full blast.
How terrible.
Yeah, well, they solved a lot of problems for us. Housing shortage, wars, even the atomic bomb. I don't suppose the human race, you and I, have to worry about anything now.
It's awful.
Only they made a mistake. They underestimated us.
I don't understand.
They thought we were immortal.
But we were what?
Immortal, like they are. Oh, they can be killed, but the Zans don't know what natural death is. They didn't know anyway until they lost two of us yesterday.
You mean there are more than two of us?
Oh, not more of our species, no. These were merely fellow animals, a rabbit and a canary. And by the Zan's way of figuring time, the rest of us are only good for a few minutes apiece. It's a joke on them. They figured they had permanent specimens here in the zoo.
Well, didn't they even know we'd all die eventually?
I don't think so. George, that is the second Zan I saw, told me he was 7,000 years old, and he's young by their standards. When they learned how quickly we die, they were practically shocked to the core, if they have cores.
How can you talk that way about it?
Academic detachment. I learned it at faculty teas. At any rate, they decided to reorganize their zoo. 2 by 2.
What, are they going to keep us locked up together in this one little room?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. There's plenty of furniture, though, and George promised to bring me my chair.
We've got to do something.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It just seems to me we owe it to the human race to do something.
Oh, well, perhaps you have a suggestion?
There must be some way. They can be killed, you said.
Oh, yes, I've been studying them. They look horribly different, but I think they have about the same metabolic and digestive system as we. I think that anything that would kill one of us would kill one of them.
But you said 7,000 years.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Now, George cut his, I suppose you'd call it his hand, when he brought in my books. Started to bleed, red blood. But I could see the cut closing as he stood there. By the time he left, it was healed.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, whatever factor there is in man that makes him grow old is missing in the Zan. Their regenerative powers must be unlimited. They just don't wear out. They go on and on until they're stopped.
Suppose we killed one. There must be some way.
Oh, what would be the use? They wouldn't even punish us. They'd just give us our food through a trapdoor and put up a sign saying, "Beware of the man. Dangerous."
I don't think they'll even have to bother in your case. I don't see anything funny.
I'm sorry. It just reminds me of Martha.
Martha?
My wife. She died 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Well, not at all. It was a pleasure. That'll be George with my books. Come in. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Point 1, I have brought your books.
Point 1, eh? What else is on your mind?
Another creature sleeps and will not wake.
Oh?
A small feathered one called a duck.
Well, it happens, George. I warned you. Old Man Death, the Grim Reaper. I told you about him.
Walter, the Council of Zan has met. It has been decided logically that A, no life form can withstand the full-strength vibrations with which we cleared your planet. Therefore, the Grim Reaper you spoke of does not exist.
Pretty neat, George. What's B?
B, the only intelligent life to escape the vibrations is you. Therefore, the logical conclusion is you are stopping these animals by some means unknown to us.
George, you are off your trolley.
You will tell me now how this is done.
You've got me.
Yes, we have. It is necessary to save the remaining specimens as long as possible. If we do not get the information, we may be forced to dispense with your species entirely. This means you, Walter, and the female.
Now, hold on, George. Don't go off half-cocked. Let me take a look at these animals that won't wake up.
I will take you there now. Go first, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
This is the weasel.
Now, you should have got him in the winter, George. The fur's worth more then. It's ermine.
This is the reptile cage. Here are the ducks. That is the male. The female has been stopped.
Yeah, lucky girl. What's the matter, fellow? Lonely?
Walter, you will tell me how you stopped the female duck.
Well, you got me, George. I didn't do it. Maybe she died of the Dutch elm blight.
Walter, you are not being logical. We have concluded you are stopping these animals. Tell us now how it is done.
I've told you, George. I haven't the foggiest notion.
Very well. We will have to take further action.
Oh, what are you going to do, George?
We will go back now to your room.
What happened, Mr. Phelan?
You might call me Walter. After all, George does. And we have more in common.
Please, what happened?
Oh, just a duck, a dead duck. George thinks I killed her by remote control. He wants me to tell him how.
Did you?
Look, I'm just an ordinary anthropologist. There's no telling what those animals died of, just natural causes. But George can't see it that way. He thinks I'm holding out on him.
Good.
What?
At least we can get back at them some way. At least we can do something to them.
Well, why? After all, George isn't a bad fellow, if you like an ant mentality.
How can you say that? Well, they murdered the human race.
I suppose so, but we can't change that now, so why think about it?
We just can't sit here and do nothing.
I fail to see how we can do anything else.
But at least we could be fighting.
I can't see the virtue in that. I was more or less content with my books, and we've got George to talk to.
Of all the men in the world they had to pick, don't you want to fight back? Don't you want to keep on fighting to the end?
It hadn't occurred to me.
But we've got to, Walter.
Why?
Well, I can't really explain it, but, Walter, if there was any good in man, it was that he kept on struggling against nature and, in the end, even against himself. But he kept on fighting for what he thought was right, and we're all that's left. Walter, we just can't end by giving up. We've got to keep on fighting.
You know, you do remind me of Martha.
There isn't much left for us. We could beat them in this one small thing. We can pretend there's a secret about death. We could refuse to tell them anything.
Well, there isn't anything to tell.
But they don't know that. Promise me you won't give in.
Well, I suppose the worst they can do is kill us. All right, Miss Evans. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Now you will tell us how these animals are stopped.
George, this may come as a shock to you, but I've decided not to tell you.
Why?
Oh, a romantic attachment to lost causes. My grandfather was a Confederate officer.
Walter, you are not being logical.
Neither was my grandfather. He charged a Yankee battery with 1 round of ammunition and a corncob pipe.
You are not logical, but that is expected in lower life forms. You will come with me now, Walter.
Where are you taking him?
To the 2nd level. Go now, Walter.
You won't tell them.
I can't guarantee anything, but as of now, I don't intend to.
We've got to fight, Walter. Remember that. We've got to go out fighting.
Yes. Yes, I think you're right.
Go now, Walter.
Goodbye.
It's been a pleasure, Miss Evans.
I am waiting. Go now, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
You will tell us now, Walter? That was the first level of vibration. There are many more. However, we have calculated that none of them exceed your threshold of unconsciousness.
Oh, very clever, George.
Of course. You will tell us now, how do you stop these animals? You will tell us now?
As of now, no. However, I'm not very brave, if that encourages you, George.
You are not being logical, Walter.
You're telling me.
We will now use vibration level 2. Walter, you are still conscious.
Let me alone, George.
You will tell us now how you stop the animals?
Let me alone.
We have had vibration levels 1 and 2. There are still 15 more before your threshold of unconsciousness.
No. Let me alone.
Walter, listen to me. Another creature sleeps and will not wake. We must know now.
It's tough. You better start vibrating again, George.
No.
What?
It would not be logical. We have calculated that no further level of vibration will overcome your irrational psychological block. We conclude you will not tell.
Let me go?
That is correct.
That's real nice of you, George. I appreciate it.
We have calculated that the resistance of the female of your species will be lower. We will now place her under the vibrations.
No, George, you can't do that. Now, listen, George. George, there is no secret. Can you understand that? There is no secret. Those animals died from natural causes. I'm telling you the truth.
That is not a logical answer. We will get the woman.
I've told you the truth. Can't you understand?
We must know now. The female animal cage next to the duck has been stopped. We must preserve the survivor.
But the animal next to the duck.
We will bring the woman here. She will tell us after the vibration.
No. Listen, George. You want the truth? You want to know how to save the mates of the animals that have been stopped?
You will tell us now?
Yes, I'll tell you now. I give up. But you've got to promise to leave the woman alone. You promise, George?
If we receive the answer from you, Walter, there will be no further need for the vibrations.
Well, I guess that'll have to do. All right. All right. Take me to that stuffed animal. I'll tell you how to save the mate.
Very well, Walter. You are being logical now. We will go.
Walter, are you all right?
Just let me catch my breath a minute.
What did they do? What happened?
After a while, I told them what they wanted to know.
Oh, no.
As George pointed out, it seemed to be the logical thing at the time.
But you promised.
I know.
It was our last chance to beat them on even one little thing.
Perhaps. You mind if I sit down?
You gave up.
I suppose you could call it that. I'm very tired.
They've beaten us completely then. There isn't even anything we can do. The last of the human race, and we give up. We don't even die fighting.
Oh, it isn't that bad. Something might turn up, Martha.
What did you call me?
Huh? No, I must have said Martha. Sorry, she was my wife. She died 2 years ago. What were you saying?
Nothing. It doesn't matter. It's too late. It's too late for the whole human race.
What now, George?
The Council of the Zan has met.
No? Something wrong, George?
The Zan has been stopped.
What?
Zan is dead?
That is correct.
Well, you didn't believe me, George. But you can die. You can really die. You'll have to get used to that if you're going to stay here.
The Council has decided. A, you have in some way stopped this Zan. B, you and the woman must be eliminated.
Walter.
No, you've got it wrong, George.
The Council has decided. This time you will have the full vibration.
This time? Walter, what did they do to you?
Oh, they have a rather effective third degree.
They tortured you, Walter?
Yes.
And I thought... Oh, Walter, it was all my fault.
I wouldn't even have tried without you. I suppose we have a last chance now to end with some dignity.
I think you're a very brave man, Walter.
No, not very. There isn't much else to do. Do we go now, George?
Now, Walter. Wait.
What's that?
I have been told another Zan has died.
Now, will you believe me?
The Council of the Zan meets now.
2 gone already, and you were with me, George. You know I didn't kill this one.
What stopped him then?
I told you, it's old man Death. You came to the wrong planet, George. Your immortality doesn't go down here. He can stop you, but you can't stop him. And you'll all die if you stick around. What now?
The Council has decided. This is a place of death. We will leave your planet.
Leave? You mean you're giving up?
It is not safe for the Zan.
Oh, Walter, they're leaving. They're really going.
Go on then, George. And don't hurry back.
It would not be logical to do so. We are leaving the Earth now. Goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, George. Well, they're all aboard now.
So wonderful to feel the sun and the wind again.
Yeah, they've closed the hatches.
Walter, is it safe for us to be out here?
Yes, they're not interested in us any longer. They only want to get away. And I want to see this, Grace. The Zan leaving Earth forever. They're blasting off.
There they go.
Yes, it's all over now. Well, I suppose we might as well go back in.
I still don't understand. Walter, what made them go?
I just told them the facts of life.
Of death, you mean?
No, of life. After all, I thought George was old enough to know. At 7,000 years, he was getting to be a pretty big boy.
I wish you'd stop joking and tell me what happened.
Look out for the step. Well, you remember when the first animals died?
The rabbit and the duck?
Yeah, and their mates just started to pine and waste away?
Yes.
Well, that worried the Zan. They wanted to keep the last specimens alive if they could. So finally, I broke down and told them about affection.
Affection?
Yes. And then I introduced Donald.
Donald? Who's that?
Here we are. Grace, meet Donald.
Oh, Walter, please. What does affection have to do with it?
That's what the Zan wanted to know. I told him it was love that made the world go round. that having lost his mate, Donald would die immediately unless he had affection and constant petting.
Petting?
Hmm? I even showed him how. Here, fella, come on. Come here. I held Donald in my arms, and I petted him a while. Then I let the Zan take over with the animal in the next cage.
What animal?
Take a look.
You mean this cage?
Mm-hmm. Watch out. Don't go too close.
Walter, it's a rattlesnake.
Yes. Their metabolism made it impossible for them to die of old age, but I had a hunch that they could be poisoned.
Well, then it was the snake that killed the two Zan.
Mm-hmm. They never even knew what bit them.
Then you outwitted them, Walter.
Well, I suppose...
I thought you'd just given up. Oh, Walter, I'm so ashamed.
You don't have to be. I had given up. I probably wouldn't have fought if you hadn't pushed me. Well, we've got a world to plan. A new world, Grace.
I know.
We'll have to decide which animals to let out of the zoo and which ones it'd be safer to keep in. But first, there's a bigger problem.
What's that?
The human race.
Oh.
We've got to make a decision about that. Pretty important one.
Yes, but...
It's been a nice race, even if nobody won it. Of course, it may go backward for a while until it gets its breath, but we can save the books and all the most important things and get it started ahead once more.
No.
It's the Garden of Eden all over again. But, Eve, you'll have to watch out for that snake.
Now, don't be ridiculous, Walter.
You know, funny, you even blush like Martha. Only you're stronger than she was. Prettier, too.
I wish you'd forget about Martha.
I think I will, my dear. If you'll give me time.
Now, Walter Phelan, you listen to me. If you think for 1 minute that I
thought it would never happen to me again. But it is love that makes the world go round. So, Grace, if you could only...
No. I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth.
But that's exactly what I am.
I don't care. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going out.
All right, my dear, but think it over. And please come back.
You see, I told you. It wasn't really so horrible, our story. Remember how it goes? The last man on earth sat alone in a room. And then there was a knock on the door.
Come in. Come in, Grace, my dear.
You see, it wasn't horrible at all. In just a moment, a word about next week's adventure. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Knock by Frederick Brown, adapted for radio by Ernest Kinoy. Featured in the cast were Alex Scorby as Walter, Laurie March as Grace, and Louis Van Rooten as the Zan. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week. A strange and chilling story from the Bureau of Missing Persons. The story of what occurred when they accidentally intercepted a short-wave message. A cry for help from a missing atomic scientist who told them the fantastic story that he was now the man in the moon. How did it happen? You'll hear next week at X minus 1.
Join the Abbotts on another baffling mystery tonight over most NBC radio stations.
Countdown for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight's story, The Man in the Moon.
Attention. Attention. This is the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons calling all local agencies. Attention. This is a coded report nationwide. Missing since 9 o'clock this morning the following persons: Smigley Jonathan, 5 feet 8 inches tall, brown hair, brown eyes, mastoid scar behind right ear, last seen wearing blue top coat and tan cap, wanted by Los Angeles... Hello, get off this wavelength. This is a restricted band.
Hello, Earth.
Whoever you are, you're on a coded wavelength. Tune out. This frequency is reserved for the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons.
Hello, Earth. This is the moon calling Earth. Hello, Earth.
This guy's loony.
This is Jake in transmission.
Jake, this is Charlie of the code room. Some crackpot is on our frequency.
Yeah, I heard him, Charlie. I've got CQ trying to trace a source now. We should have a triangulation any second.
Well, hurry it up, will you? Some ham is in for a good stiff fine by the FCC.
Yeah, they ought to take his license away. Oh, here comes Lenny with the directional fix.
Right.
Thanks, Lenny. Hey, what's this? This is impossible.
What's going on down there? How about it? Get that ham out of my kilocycles.
Now, listen, Charlie, unless this is a gag, that interference is being beamed from 240,000 miles away.
Oh, now, Jake, you know there ain't no such thing as 240,000 miles away.
Yes, there is, Charlie. Straight up.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Charlie, that signal is coming from the moon.
Are you nuts?
Well, somebody might be bouncing it like a radar signal.
Radar on this frequency? Where'd you study basic radio?
Now, listen, Flathead, you asked for a fix. I gave the best fix our instruments can find. Take it or leave it. Somebody on the moon is calling the Bureau of Missing
Well,
Timpkin.
what's the sweat, Charlie? Shouldn't you be broadcasting?
Listen, Mr. Timpkin. You know I'm a sober citizen, right?
Hmm?
Never once have I broadcast with the smell of alcohol on my breath, right?
Right.
In all your 12 years here at the Bureau, did I once
what's
ever...
the matter, Charlie?
We're picking up a message on our wavelength.
Did you report to the FCC?
I ain't got the nerve.
Well, what's wrong?
You'll scream when you hear this, Mr. Timpkin. You'll jump right out the window, but... We are getting an SOS from the moon. Well, that's it. He started on voice and switched to Morse. The way the signal repeats sounds like a phonograph record or automatic sender of some sort.
Well, what's it say?
Let's see here. Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Let's have that again.
Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Otterburn.
That sounds like a name, huh?
Otterburn. Wait a minute.
Something registered?
Cornelius Otterburn. Holy Jones, hold it back.
Hey, where are you going?
Talk to the chief.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you going to tell him? We just got a CQ from the man in the moon?
That's exactly what I am going to tell him, Charlie.
Oh, this is just too much for me.
Washington Star Ledger.
Let me have O'Brien on city desk.
A moment.
O'Brien?
Seamus,
Yeah?
Charlie Starbuck down at the Missing Persons Bureau. You want a hot one? No kidding. This'll cost you a beer, okay?
All right, shoot, Noodle Brain. I'll stay on your wavelength for 30 seconds.
Okay. We just got a radio message from the moon.
Yep. What?
From the moon.
Call me back when you're sober.
Okay, Seamus, if you don't know a story when you see one,
I'll send you the name of a good psychiatrist. So long, Orson Welles.
How do you like that? You don't believe me.
Otterburn, Mr. Wade. Now, does that name ring a bell?
You're the man with the photographic memory, Henry. What about Otterburn?
Cornelius Otterburn, atomic physicist, reported missing from his home in Baltimore on June 5th, 1945, just 5 years ago. Vanished completely.
Are you trying to tell me you really think there's something to this man-on-the-moon business? Henry, I'm surprised at you. This is some crackpot trying to jam the airwaves.
Yes, but the name Otterburn is so unusual.
So are a lot of names.
But I have a theory that...
I was afraid of that. Henry, you always have a theory. Let's see, what was it last year? Oh, yes. That people disappear in occupational psych.
But it's true.
Please, Henry, I'm a busy man. You expect me to believe that this Otterburn is sitting up on the moon, sending out shortwave messages?
Well, he might be on Earth bouncing the messages off the moon. But who's to say he isn't on the moon?
Henry, as chief of this bureau, I have my hands full trying to coordinate reports from 48 states and Alaska. I have no time to include the moon.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, Henry.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, I'm busy.
Yes.
Oh, here. Take this folder of reports for the dead file.
Yes.
And no more nonsense, eh, Henry?
Yes.
I appreciate that you have a very dull job filing old missing persons reports, and I appreciate that you take an active interest in the affairs of the Bureau. But no more nonsense, huh?
No, sir. No more nonsense.
Pardon me. You are Mr. Henry Timken.
That's my name.
Permit me, Jefferson Philo, scientific feature writer.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, are you a newspaper man?
Not exactly. I write as a hobby. Occasionally the papers give me leads on an assignment. If I may have a moment of your time.
Oh, well, certainly. Just sit down at my desk over here.
Thank you. My, that's quite a stack of papers.
Filing. I'm the records custodian of the Bureau. 12 years and never misplaced a record.
Magnificent. I admire the precise mind, Mr.
Timken.
Of course. Now, Mr. Timken, Mr. O'Brien, the editor of the Star Ledger, said I might drop by and investigate a rumor. Only a rumor, mind you. That a message from the, moon?
Well, we aren't certain it's from the moon. It may be a bounce. They have bounced radar waves off the moon, you know.
Yes, I know. I wrote the first newspaper article on it.
Really? I'd be interested to read it.
I must have a copy in my briefcase.
Well, don't bother.
Oh, but I insist. Oh, yes. There you are. I'll leave it on your desk.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, about this message from the moon, Mr. Timken.
Well, now, we don't know for sure, as I said. But I believe that this message, wherever it originates, is from Cornelius Otterburn.
The physicist?
Oh, do you know him?
I once wrote an article on his contributions in nuclear mechanics. A brilliant man, Otterburn. Years ahead of his contemporaries.
Well, whoever is sending those signals, if he isn't on the moon, is at least using the moon as a sounding board, bouncing the signal.
But why, Mr. Timken? Why?
Well, if you will come here tomorrow night at 8, Mr. Philo, we may learn the answer to that question. I've arranged with Charlie, our radio man, to let me use the equipment.
May I consider this an invitation?
You certainly may.
Very well, sir. Until tomorrow night, then.
Goodbye, Mr. Philo. Let's see now. Aiken, Abelard, Abramson, Rono, Atchett. Well, that's funny. Now, where did this list of names come from? Paul Ahrens, astromathematician. Robert Simons, electronic engineer. Carl Parker, mining specialist. Well, this must have got mixed up with the papers on my desk by accident. Peculiar list of names. Good morning, Charlie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Timken. See, we made the papers.
Oh?
And how? And as the chief steamed up about it, he really gave me what for.
What did the paper say?
Oh, mostly ha-ha. Here's the Herald. Listen. Man on the moon contacts Missing Persons Bureau. Missing atomic scientists sitting on the moon, say Bureau experts, etc., etc. What a pain.
Well, no wonder Mr. Wade is hopping.
Say, about tonight, Mr. Timken, I don't
know. Now, you promised you'd give me a key to the radio room.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it.
I'll take full responsibility with Mr. Wade.
It's time for the morning broadcast. We got quite a list today.
Well, mind if I listen a while? We may hear Otterburn.
Well, I ain't self-conscious. Just stick around.
Yes.
Attention. Attention. This is the Federal Missing Persons Bureau calling all local agencies. Nationwide. This is a coded broadcast. The following persons are missing Aaron's, Dr. Paul, 5'5", brown hair, brown eyes, scar on left side of chin, thick glasses.
Aaron's.
Occupation, astromathematician. Missing since 6 o'clock this morning. Being sought by Bel Air police.
Charlie.
Repeat, Dr. Paul
Charlie,
Aaron.
turn it off a second.
Hold it. Delay 1 minute. Listen, Mr. Timken, it's okay to stay, but you can't interrupt us.
Now, this is important. Did you say Dr. Aarons was reported missing this morning?
6 a.m. We got the report from Bel Air less than an hour ago.
Are you certain, Charlie?
Positive. What is this?
Charlie, what's the next name on the list?
Let's see. Simons, Robert, engineer.
What?
Came in less than 20 minutes ago.
20?
Hey, what's the matter with you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
It's nothing, Charlie, except that last night, quite by accident, someone left a list of names on my desk. And that list included the names of those 2 men who were reported missing within the last hour.
What? Oh, that don't sound right to me.
Well, it isn't right, Charlie. It leaves a big question to be answered. Who would make up a list of missing persons before they were missing, not after?
And you say this list of names was left on your desk accidentally?
Well, I believe so, Mr. Wade.
Do you have any ideas, Henry?
Well, it's hard to say. Mr. Philo left some papers from his briefcase.
Mr. Philo?
A science feature writer.
I see. You were the leak on that story, then?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid I was. I didn't think it would be treated as a laughing matter.
Well, we'll deal with that later.
Yes, sir.
What's this Philo like?
Well, he's a strange old duck, bald, thick glasses, tall. He walks stooped over. Seems to know a great deal about scientific data, but, of course, being a science writer,
Is there any other possibility?
I believe that this is all hooked up with the broadcast from Otterburn.
That seems to be a very remote possibility.
Well, the Missing Persons Bureau deals in remote possibilities, Mr. Wade.
I do not require a statement of policy.
Yes, sir.
What's the theory?
For some time now, it has been my contention that in a country like ours, where even the cleverest criminal can be ferreted out and located eventually, there is no such thing as a missing person.
I was afraid of that.
For 12 years now, I have kept the central files, where information from all over the country is channeled and recorded. I have made a private study.
This is beginning to sound familiar, Henry.
And I have discovered that each year, literally thousands of persons vanish, leaving no trace. They are never located. Where do they go? Nobody knows. And they disappear in interesting cycles.
What sort of cycles?
Occupations, for example. 1 year we'll have a run on, well, say, coal miners. Next year, the proportion of engineers increases. And then scientists. And
what do you think happens, Henry?
I don't know, Mr. Wade, but I'm beginning to suspect that somebody else has discovered the same phenomenon, even to the point, perhaps, of being able to predict who will turn up among the missing next.
Philo?
Well, I don't know. But I would like to find out.
And you think Otterburn may be a part of this picture?
Mr. Wade, I definitely do.
Henry, do you honestly expect me to buy an idea like that?
It is more than an idea. The 2 top men on this list are missing, and...
Maybe so, but the rest of them aren't. Parker, Watson, Gibbs. Why, I saw Parker in the restaurant where I had lunch today.
Yes, but...
And if you think I'm going to make myself a laughingstock by accepting such a crack-brained theory...
Well,
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, Wade speaking. Yes? Yes? I see. What name? Just a moment. Henry, let me see that list again.
Here you are, sir.
Go ahead. I see. I'll get back to you. I guess I owe you an apology, Henry.
Sir?
Carl Parker was just reported missing.
Parker?
3rd man on your list.
Holy mackerel.
Exactly. Henry, for a good many years now, I've ridiculed these theories of yours. I don't know. Perhaps I've underestimated you. Maybe this time you've really stumbled onto something.
What do you intend to do, Mr. Wade?
I don't know. I haven't thought it out yet.
I was planning to listen for another broadcast tonight in the hope that Otterburn might try to contact us again.
Good idea. I believe I'll join you.
I also invited Mr. Philo, the feature writer.
Oh? I'll be glad to meet him. I'm beginning to get interested in you, Mr. Philo.
Mr. Wade, you don't think...
That he's mixed up in this?
Yes.
I don't know, Henry. But it suddenly strikes me that we don't know very much about him, really.
He ought to contact the police.
No, Henry. I think we're better off keeping this between ourselves for the moment. We're dealing with the unknown. And in solving an equation for the X factor, it's often easier to limit the number of terms. You follow me?
We don't know, Mr. Wade.
There may be more danger in what you have discovered than you are aware of. The
Let's keep it quiet. You agree?
Maybe you're right, Mr. Wade. I haven't thought of the danger involved.
8 o'clock. My friend Mr. Filer was late.
Well, he said he'd be here. He strikes me as a man who keeps appointments.
Look out the window.
Yes.
The moon is almost in direct phase. Can't wait much longer.
Well, it's a perfectly clear night for transmission. If anybody's sending, we ought to pick it up with this equipment.
You'd better switch on the set.
Yes. I never realized how eerie this office could be when it was empty.
I'll have to light in the hall for Mr. Filer when he comes. Are you getting anything?
Just some foreign stuff, I think.
That concludes the British portion of tonight's programming from Johannesburg, South Africa. We continue in April.
That's a peculiar transmission sound.
Earth.
Now, that sounds like something. See if I can work the selector.
The moon is in phase.
Yes.
Hello, Earth. Can you hear me?
I'll try to return. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Earth.
Hello, do you hear me?
Oh, I get you now. Thank God.
Who are you? Can you hear me? Who are you?
This is Professor Cornelius Otterburn. Hello?
Go on, I hear you.
Not much time. They're on to me. They've located my sending point. You hear me?
Go ahead, keep talking.
I've only enough oxygen for a few minutes more.
Well, where are you?
I'm on the Earth side of the moon. You get that? The Earth side of the moon. A volcanic crater.
Good. Start that recorder, Mr. Wade. Go on. Explain, please. Explain, please.
Now listen closely. There is an Earth colony on the moon. There is an Earth colony on the far side of the moon, made up of renegade scientists and criminals. Professor Ernst Halsman.
He died in an insane asylum in 1938.
Professor Ernst Halsman discovered nuclear rocket power in 1935. Turned his plans over to escaped inmates of the asylum. They took off and set up a colony on the far side of the moon in 1938.
Go ahead, we're recording you.
Each year, they recruit new colonists from Earth. Slave labor, mostly. I was kidnapped in 1945.
Yes, I know. Keep talking.
They wanted me to work on atomic drive for their flying disc.
Still getting you. Go on.
Last month, 6 others and I escaped.
Speak louder.
You got to stop them. Stop them.
Stop who?
The moon colony. Planning to take over the Earth. Invasion. Oh.
Hang on.
No oxygen. Hard to breathe. Listen. They have agents on Earth. You hear me?
Agents on Earth? Where? Who? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Agents in...
Henry, look out. Someone at the window. Get down.
Henry, are you all right? I think so. His shot smashed the transmitter.
And the lights. Strike a match. Careful.
It was close.
I got a look at him. From the description, it was your Mr. Philo.
We got a recording anyway, but not the most important part of the message. Poor Otterburn, suffocating to death.
Henry, we've got to get you out of here. He said they have agents. Philo was probably one of them. He'll be looking for you now, trying to kill you.
The police...
Do you think the police would believe a fantastic story like this? People being kidnapped to the moon as slave labor? Moon colony planning an invasion of the Earth? But Henry, believe me, they'd trap us into straitjackets before we could finish.
We've got to do something.
We need time. Time to get close.
You don't think my theory was bunk then?
I know it wasn't, Henry. Right now, my only concern is for your safety.
But we can't walk out of here. Philo's probably waiting.
Listen. There's a service elevator that leads to the basement garage.
Yeah?
We can get down there. There are some delivery trucks parked there all night. We can probably get one started. The garage door's off the ramp, work from the inside. We'll start the mechanism and make a run for it.
I don't know. I think if we call the police...
By the time the police get here, we'll be dead. You think Philo will wait outside all night? Come on. That's an order.
Okay. But what about the recording of Otterburn's notes?
We'll leave that here in the safe in my office. They'll never get into that. Let's go. You buzz the elevator while I hide the recording. This is the basement. Come on. Keep to the side.
Yes, sir.
Shh. Let's try that delivery truck over there. I'll get in. All right, Henry. You start the mechanism to open the garage door, then jump onto the truck.
Yes, sir.
We'll make a dash for it.
Where can we go?
I have a farm outside Chevy Chase. It's private. Miles from the nearest neighbor and completely hidden by trees. We'll run for that. Go ahead. Start the door up.
All right.
Quick. Jump in. Here we go, Henry. Cross your fingers. We made it out all right. Anything doing?
There's a blue coupe behind us, Mr. Wade. It seems to be following.
I'll cut up Pennsylvania Avenue. Now Route 1, toward Baltimore.
It is following. He turned with us. Can you go faster?
Not much faster.
He's gaining on us.
I've got an idea. Hang on, Henry.
Yes. Why'd you stop?
I'll turn off the lights. It worked. He shot right past us. Now we'll double back and go out another route.
Well, I don't see anything. I think we've lost him.
Good. I think everything's going to be all right now. We can be at my farm in less than an hour. Not much longer now. Is anyone behind us?
I thought I saw the blue coupe again, but I was mistaken. Whew. This place is really out in the wilderness.
We can stay here indefinitely till we'll figure out the next move. Now, just up this dirt road now. There's the house up ahead.
You're not going toward it.
No, I have a better idea. There's a big abandoned wheat silo on my grounds. It's down the hollow where it can't be seen except in the air. And even then, the oak trees shield it. We'll hide you out there. Now, we leave the truck here. You'll never be seen. Come on.
Yes. How did you ever find this place, Mr. Wade?
I've always liked seclusion. I bought it about 12 years ago. Come up here in the summertime to get away from it all. There's the silo.
It's certainly well hidden.
There's a small door around the side. Come on. Be careful of those bushes.
Yes.
It's hard to see them in the dark.
Do you suppose Philo will find us?
I assure you, Henry, Mr. Fowler will never find us here. Not in a million years. Here's the door.
It's pitch dark.
Hold my arm. I know the way. Just a few steps up. And another door.
Steel. This is an unusual silo. Double-walled, wood outside and steel inside.
Completely fireproof. An army couldn't wreck it. We're inside the inner shell. Careful. We're in a circular room. Stay here a moment. I'll go outside and see if the coast is clear. In a moment, your eyes will become accustomed to the darkness. I'll bring back some food and water.
Don't be long, Mr. Wade. This place gives me the willies.
Just a moment.
Mr. Wade. I swear I hear something. Mr. Wade. What's that? There is something. Good Lord. There's someone in here. It's locked. Oh, no. Mr. Wade! Mr. Wade, let me out! I'm not alone in here! Mr. Wade! This must be a light switch. Thank God. Oh, no. People. 10, 15, 20. Mr. Wade, help! Help!
It'll do you no good to shout, Henry.
Mr. Wade, where are you?
Outside. Speaking over the intercom.
Mr. Wade, there are people in here. 15 or 20 of them. They're sitting like statues, just staring at me.
They won't hurt you, Henry. They've all been drugged. They're even more helpless than you.
But who are they?
Permit me to introduce them, Henry, since they're currently unable to introduce themselves. The gentleman seated before you, the one with the scar, is Dr. Paul Ahrens, the astromathematician. Next to him is Mr. Robert Simons, electronic engineer.
Name's on the list.
Yes, you're familiar with the rest. They've all been, shall we say, recruited for work with Professor Halsman's group on the moon.
Moon? Then you're one of them.
Of course. Oh, yes. There's one whose name was not on our list. If you'll turn around, Henry, you'll recognize the drugged form of your old friend, Mr. Philo.
Philo? But I thought...
That he was part of the conspiracy? No. On the contrary. His snooping made it necessary for us to include him.
Yes, but the man in the window, the one who fired the shot...
An agent of mine. The pilot of this ship.
Ship? What ship?
This silo is camouflaged for a rocket launching platform. In a moment, the roof will slide back for the rocket's takeoff.
A rocket ship?
In exactly 70 hours, you and your companions will join Professor Otterburn on the moon.
But you can't do this to me.
We have done it, Henry.
No.
You see, there was another name omitted in that list, which I carelessly mixed up with your papers. That of Henry Timken.
No.
Bon voyage.
I won't let you do this. You can't. Please, let me out. Let me out, please. This can't happen. Let me out. Let me out.
Attention. Missing since 8 o'clock last night, the following persons. Timken Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds, brown eyes, slightly balding, occupation records custodian. Repeat, Timken Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds.
In just a moment, a word about next week's adventure. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Man in the Moon, an original radio drama written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Louis Van Rooten as Henry, Santos Ortega as the Chief, Ross Martin as Charlie, Sidney Smith as Otterburn, Bob Haig as Jake, Joe DeSantis as Philo, and Ed Latimer as O'Brien. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week, the sign on the window said Parigi's Wonderful Dolls. A woman and a child waited outside. The little girl peering eagerly through the window, and the woman glancing impatiently at her wristwatch, as if expecting someone who was late for an appointment. And there was nothing about Parigi's doll shop to warn them that they were waiting to keep an appointment with Doom at X-1.
On the magic island of Euclidia, the Gregory party is learning more of the wonders of the place and learning them very rapidly. When their boat was pulled to the pier by magnetism, Mrs. Gregory and her daughter Joan, Captain Bradford, and Jerry Hall found no one to greet them. They know the Euclidean scientists expect their landing. It's very puzzling as they walk across the island, enter one of the automatic elevators, and descend to various levels, searching for G47 or one of his assistants. The mystery deepens as their elevator passes the 10th level, 100 feet below the surface of the sea and supposed to be the lowest level on the island. The elevator does not stop there, however, and we find them now 50 feet below the bottom of the island, 150 feet below the surface of the water, and still going down.
Oh, gee whiz, Joan. How far down does this elevator go?
I do not know, Jerry. I have only heard vague rumors of the Euclidean city below the ocean floor.
But, Joan, you said something about modern Atlantis. Surely you don't believe there's a lost continent under us.
Well, why not, Pat? The only people who refused to believe the story of Atlantis were the same kind of people who said automobiles wouldn't run and airships wouldn't fly.
But, why, it's tremendous, Ted.
Yes, it's that all right.
Well, Joan's lived on this island 14 years. I should think she'd know more about this.
G47 and his men have not told me everything about Euclidia. I think we may see things of which I have never dreamed.
Well, the only time I ever did see this kind of stuff is when I was dreaming.
This elevator keeps going down. We must be nearly 100 feet below what we believe to be the foundation of the island. And yet we go down. Down into what?
Well, whatever it is, it's been made by man. If these Euclideans can stand it, I guess we can.
I am as greatly surprised as you are, Captain Bradford. My knowledge of Euclidia will be useless here.
Well, whatever's going to happen to us, I wish it would happen quick. I'm getting tired going all in one direction in an elevator.
We stopped. No, we started again.
Something wrong here. We're tipping over.
Hey, quit pushing me.
But I am not pushing you, Jerry.
Tex, we're falling.
Hold steady. I think it's going to be all right.
What's going on here? We're almost over on our side. This blame elevator is lying down flat. And it still goes.
Perhaps we are now traversing a horizontal passage.
Joan, dear, you think this elevator is traveling along a tunnel almost flat on its side?
It is obvious, is it not?
Well, golly whiskers. When their elevators are going to run like this, I wish somebody'd tell me so I could get on top. I'm all squashed.
Well, it is a little uncomfortable, Jerry, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's swell for you. You're on top. But I'm getting all the wind knocked out of me.
I think our position is changing again.
Why? Hope we don't have to stand on our heads.
No, Jerry, we're tipping back to an upright position.
Queer things, these Euclidean elevators.
Much too queer for me.
Me too. I like my elevators running up and down.
Is it not logical to have them also run horizontally?
Yes, dear, it's probably logical, but it's also upsetting.
We seem to be almost on even keel again now.
Yeah, I can tell that. I can get my breath.
But how long is this weird ride going to continue?
I have no way of determining that.
We're going at a terrific speed now. Wherever we're going, it shouldn't take us long to get there.
Have you any idea as to our direction?
Not the slightest.
We're going down.
Of course, Jerry. We all know that. What Mother meant was our direction from the center of the island during our progress along a level plain.
I wouldn't know.
We just passed another control of some type.
I hope we don't start upside down now.
We are stationary.
What?
Huh?
Joan's right. We've stopped moving.
Why, so we have.
Then I'll bet it won't be long until something else happens to us.
That is probably correct.
No, I know it is. These Euclideans don't let much time go by without trying one of their tricks on you.
Well, we've evidently arrived at our destination.
Right, let's get out.
Do not open that door, Captain.
Why not?
I do not know why you should not. But it is well to remember that when the Euclideans wish you to pass through a door, that door is opened for you.
You mean we just stand here in this little steel coop until somebody lets us out?
Precisely.
It may be safer, as Joan suggests.
No doubt of that, but I hope they don't keep us in here too long. I'd like to know where we are.
Well, we're somewhere near the Magic Island. You can sure tell when these Euclideans are running things. Everything always happens so you can't figure it out.
I think I'll take a chance and open this door.
I wish you would not, Captain.
Oh, please, Tex. If Joan is worried about it, surely we can spare the few minutes it may take for someone to come and let us out.
All right, Pat.
Yeah, maybe take a few hours if they don't want to see us right away.
The door is opening now.
Yes, look. The door is opening, and no one is touching it.
Well, that's merely the usual procedure around here.
Well, I'll say it is. After a few weeks in this island, you get too lazy to open doors for yourself.
This one is certainly opening without human aid, and I think it's time for us to leave.
Yes, let's get out before this thing decides to take us back up to the surface.
Huh? Say, this looks just like those passageways up in the island.
The construction is obviously the same. We are in a corridor of the transparent steel.
And I suppose that on either side of us someone is watching through those walls.
Probably.
Well, they can't hurt us any by watching. Well, which way do we go?
You know as much about it as I do, kid.
I think we should proceed as we are going.
Okay, Joan. Straight ahead.
This series of hallways seems to stretch endlessly in all directions.
Hey, that noiseless paint again.
Right, Jerry. Our footsteps don't make a sound.
Apparently, the Euclidean devices are much the same here as on the surface. What is it called, Joan?
I have heard it referred to as a modern Atlantis, but the actual designation is Euclidia.
Oh, the same name as the island, huh?
Obviously.
You're not very certain about things down here, are you, Joan?
I am not, Captain. This is my first visit, and I heard it discussed but little.
Well, it's a mighty big place, if our walking means anything.
We can't even depend on that, Jerry. For all we know, we're walking in a circle.
That is possible.
Well, even a circle will bring you back to your starting point. We'd better off at that elevator, and we are wandering around an endless hall.
Oh, this is a fine thing. Here we come 4,000 miles to see people that we know want to see us, and when we get here, we can't find anybody.
It is indeed strange, Jerry, but I think it is being deliberately done, probably to impress us with G47's complete contempt for us.
I'm sure of that. It doesn't require any more demonstrations to make me feel absolutely helpless when I'm around this weird place. How long do you think we should keep up this aimless walking, Tex? Tex? Why, Tex!
Golly, Whiskers!
The captain is gone.
But where?
No place.
But he's gone, Jerry.
Well, I mean, there's no place he could have gone.
Joan, dear, what does this mean? What's happened?
I do not know, Mother.
Tex was walking right along here with us a minute ago.
He was beside me, or at least I thought he was, and then I spoke to him. And when I turned, he wasn't there.
Well, let's stand still a minute and try to figure this out.
Well, let's do something.
Do not allow yourself to become excited, Mother.
Excited when a man was walking at my side suddenly disappears?
Joan means it won't do any good to get excited. We'll figure this out. We'll just keep cool like I am. And...
You must be very cool, Jerry. You are shaking as if you had a chill.
Yeah, I was just... Well, oh, golly.
We haven't passed a doorway he could have stepped into.
The captain would not have done that without telling us.
But he's gone, Joan.
Well, maybe he turned off at one of those other hallways.
I think not. The captain was with us until long after we passed the last cross corridor.
Well, just the same, I'm going back and look for him.
Now, don't get too scared, Mrs. Gregory. These Euclideans do things like this to you all the time.
Nevertheless, I feel that Mother is right. We must retrace our steps and endeavor to discover what took place.
Oh, okay. Back we go.
It should be only a few steps. Oh!
Yeah. Oh, he's right.
Well, this is a solid metal wall.
And yet this is the way we came. There is no other way.
We reversed our direction, and the corridor is too narrow to permit a turn we didn't notice. Yet there's a solid steel panel tightly closed against us.
Then it slid into place without a sound, and I'll bet the captain is on the other side of it.
Do not attempt to call out to him, Mother.
But, Joan...
I know what is best under these circumstances. The captain was deliberately separated from this party, and we would be foolish to attempt to locate him.
You mean we should leave him there without trying to reach him?
I guess Joan's right, Mrs. Gregory. We'd only make fools of ourselves trying to see anything these Euclideans didn't want us to see, and they really might hurt us if we made them too mad.
Well, yes, I can see that, but
We will proceed along the corridor as we were doing.
Yeah. We sure can't do Tix any good, and we'd better try to get somewhere.
Yes, but where?
Well, just anywhere except this hallway.
Jerry is wise, Mother. It is to our advantage to locate someone at once and receive some advice on our positions.
Very well, Joan. Come on. It seems a terrible thing to leave Tex here somewhere and go on without him. But we couldn't do him any good if G47 doesn't want us to reach him.
I took Jerry through many experiences, even more terrifying than this. And we were not harmed, were we, Jerry? Jerry!
Stand still, Joan.
Jerry is gone!
Yes, and if we don't move from this spot, we may be able to see where he went.
I think not. There was no sound, no disturbance. Yet Jerry has vanished as completely as if he were in another world.
Yes, another world. Joan, we are in another world. A world that we don't understand. I'm going back and... Oh, that steel door wasn't more than a foot behind us.
And Jerry is undoubtedly behind that partition.
Well, I'm not going to stand for any more of this. They can come and put me in one of their cells if they want to. But I'm going to find out what's happening. Jerry! Jerry! Jerry!
Mother, please, that will do no good.
No, you're right. It won't do any good. Nothing does any good in this wild place. Oh, why doesn't someone come and take us? Take us to a cell. Take us before G47. Do anything with us to get us out of this awful uncertainty.
Come, Mother. We will proceed.
Proceeding into what?
That we will learn when the scientists are ready to have their wishes made known. We will walk rapidly and quietly.
Yes, we'll walk. Come on, Joan. We'll walk like this, putting one foot before the other, walking heavily on a steel floor, yet making no sound. And then one of us will be next, and one of us will be left alone. Alone to face what?
Be calm, Mother. Be calm.
Yes. Be calm while my world falls to pieces round me. Be calm while you're in danger. Hold tightly my hand, Joan. Oh, I'll never let them separate us. Hold tightly, Joan.
Joan! Joan! Where are you, Joan?
Down in the depths of a strange underwater world, the little band of adventurers are having their troubles one at a time. When Mrs. Gregory, Captain Bradford, Jerry, and Joan started down inside the island of Euclidia in one of the automatic elevators, they didn't even dream of the sort of thing they would find. Carried down to a level which they believed to be about 200 feet below sea level, 100 feet below the foundation of the island, they set out to walk along one of the familiar corridors of polished steel. One by one, they disappear. Captain Bradford first, then Jerry, Joan next, and finally Mrs. Gregory. They are still separated. The first one we find is Jerry Hall. Jerry is seated in a small metal chair. A bright light shines into his eyes, and out of the blackness before him a strange voice speaks.
You will answer my questions, Hall?
Maybe, if I can.
You can, if you will.
Well, what are your questions?
Where is Captain Bradford?
I don't know.
Where is Cleostra?
Who?
Cleostra, the living symbol of the perfect calendar.
Oh, you mean Joan Gregory.
You will learn that on Euclidia we say precisely what we mean.
Precisely? That sure sounds familiar. Well, why don't you come out in the light where I can see you?
I will ask the questions here.
Well, then ask some I can answer.
Where is Cleostra?
I don't know.
Then where
I don't know.
I did not complete my interrogation.
Well, you didn't need to. You were going to ask me where Mrs. Gregory is, and I don't know. And I don't know where any of the others are.
Do you know where you are?
Sure. I'm right here.
You are very foolish, Hall.
Well, I guess I am. Anybody's foolish that lets themselves get caught by a crazy bunch of guys like you've got on this island.
You are not on the island.
Well, under the island, then.
You are not under the island.
Well, maybe I am foolish. But we came down under the island, I'm sure of that.
Did you come down a true vertical course?
Oh, we come down a true... Oh, say, now look here. When you mean straight down, why don't you say straight down?
We of Euclidia do not speak in the jargon of your commonly mutilated variations of the English language.
Okay, I know a few big words myself. But I don't show off all the time by using them. Now, I don't know a thing you want to know. So why don't you let me go and find Mrs. Gregory and the rest of our bunch?
The word bunch is perhaps an adequate description of your ill-assorted expedition.
Well, our expedition was plenty good enough to find this island.
That was made very simple for you.
Oh, yeah, I know. Old G47 wanted to see the captain and try to get something he's got. But we escaped from this island, didn't we?
Are you not here now?
Now, look here. You haven't asked me a question that you don't know the answer to better than I do. And there's no sense in my trying to answer any more of them.
I am thoroughly convinced there would be no intelligence displayed in anything you might be a part of. That is all.
Oh, can I go now? I said, can I go now? Okay. I can sit here as long as you can. Hey, don't turn that light out. Well, I'm not afraid of the dark. Well, why don't you go on talking? I wonder if... Yeah. That's it. I'm alone. That guy's gone.
Jerry, is that you, Jerry?
Yeah, this is Jerry. Where are you, Tex?
I'm right here. Where are you?
Well, I'm right here.
At least we're in the same room, I think.
Well, I don't like to do much moving around in the dark in these places.
Well, neither do I, but it can't be helped. Now, you stay where you are and keep talking. I'll try to come to your voice. Tell me, what happened to Pat and Joan?
Well, same thing has happened to us, I suppose.
So you suddenly pulled into an open steel panel?
I sure was. Just a minute or two after you disappeared.
Well, I disappeared the same way.
Hey, somebody grabbed my arm. Let go.
Steady, Jerry. I've got hold of your arm.
Oh, golly whiskers. You never know what's liable to happen to you in this place.
What about Pat and Joan?
Well, I don't know. They were together when I got lifted off my feet and jerked into a little room.
Then you were brought in here for questioning.
Yeah. That fellow Thales, it sounded like. But I couldn't be sure. He talked a lot like old G47.
Yeah, we've heard him talk in other ways, too. Well, I've been questioned just as you have. And I was honored by having G47 himself work on me.
Ooh. What did he have to say?
Nothing. He wanted me to do all the talking, and I didn't say any more than he did.
Well, that must have been a noisy meeting.
Well, not very. However, there's no use in our trying to hide our purposes from these Euclideans, Jerry. And no use fooling ourselves. They know we've come here to try and do something about this island, because we're afraid of what they may do to the world if they're left alone.
Well, what do you think they're going to do to us?
Nothing, for the time being.
I hope Joan and Mrs. Gregory are all right.
No, if there were some lights in this place, we'd try to find them.
Gee, lights. They came on just as you said lights.
We're being watched and overheard, of course.
Well, I like the light. I don't care who's looking at it.
This room seems to have been designed for just such a purpose as this. Nothing in it but these straight steel chairs.
Well, where are we? Do you know exactly?
No, except that we're somewhere under the floor of the ocean and not far from the surface location of the island.
Is this where we're supposed to stay?
No telling, kid. I'm just as much in the dark as you are.
Jerry! Captain Bradford!
Hello, Joan.
I have been feeling my way along cold steel walls until I felt a panel open before me. And I am so glad to see you.
Well, we're glad to see you, too, Joan. Where's your mother?
I do not know. I was taken from her side as quickly and noiselessly as were you and Jerry. I have not seen her since.
Sure a lot of mysterious junk around here. Did one of the Euclideans ask you questions, Joan?
Yes. I was blinded by a strong light focused directly into my eyes, while my interrogator remained in total darkness. But I believe it was Thales.
The same guy who worked on me.
And what was your experience, Captain Bradford?
About the same as yours and Jerry's, except that I was questioned by G47. Such things as what were we doing here and why had we come and what would we attempt to do now that we were here.
The interviews must have been practically identical then.
Joan, dear.
Hey, it's Mrs. Gregory.
We are all safe, Mother.
I'm so glad, Joan, dear, and Jerry and Tex. What happened to you?
Same as happened to you, I expect. A dark room, questions, then silence, and you were alone.
Yes, Tex. How did you know?
Well, it's just happened to all of us.
Oh, thank heavens we're together again. And I hope we can stay together.
The lights. They're going out.
Now what's coming?
Now take it easy till we find out. Everyone stand still. Hold each other's hands. Give me your hand, Jerry.
Right, Tex. There it is.
Mother, give me your hand.
I will, when I can find yours in the dark. There, dear.
Now, Pat, your hand. That's right. And whatever you do, don't let go. Any of you.
Well, what do you expect?
Anything. But whatever happens, let's keep from being separated as long as we can.
So, we are all together.
G47.
Precisely.
What's the idea of the black magic, G47? You can do just about as you wish with us here. Why put on this cheap show?
My dear Captain, you will learn to entertain a greater respect for me before you see the outside world again.
Just where are we now?
You are in Euclidia.
That might mean anything.
It might indeed. Now, you will answer some questions.
What, again?
Mrs. Gregory, what do you hope to gain by this visit to Euclidia?
Hey, that's not G47.
It is Thales, I believe.
Where is your formula, Captain Bradford?
My formula is safe from you.
What were the materials you brought on your boat?
What experiments did you hope to conduct here?
The compounding of that formula by anyone except a scientist of Euclidia will seal your fate.
Tex, just what I thought. We're only safe until they can force you to give up that formula.
They'll never do that.
Never is a longer period of time than any human is allowed to hold a secret.
We will never give this up, G47.
You are very foolish to ally yourself with this hopeless cause, Cleostra.
Now, wait a minute, you two. I'm not a bit frightened by these third-degree methods. I can talk and reason as well in the dark as you can. I'm the only one of this group who knows my formula. The only one in the world. And the only written copy of the formula I destroyed when we were in Los Angeles. You can't browbeat any secrets out of the others, and you'll never get them from me.
Good for you, Tex.
We all feel the same way.
Very heroic. However, your sweeping gestures have the weakness of all heroics. They have no value in the face of fact.
But the formula is a fact, and my having it a fact.
And is it not a fact that you would surrender the formula before you would allow harm to come to any of these others?
Well?
No, Captain. We are able to undertake anything with you.
Yes, Joan, dear. But the four of us mean very little when the safety of the world is at stake.
Do you think you four weak fools are of any value in the world?
Well, as long as we can keep guys like you from running wild and upsetting all our countries, we're plenty of good to the world, and that's more than you are.
We of Euclidia have knowledge that is priceless to your elementary world.
That depends on your senses of values. We're going to do everything within our power to see that your vast scientific knowledge is not used to harm the world.
No, never mind, Pat. We're only wasting our breath. Let's just let them talk, and when the time comes, we'll find a way to do the right thing.
Does anyone in your world ever do the right thing?
Hey, listen. That's the signal to submerge the island.
That means we will not see the daylight for some time.
The island is being submerged completely and will remain so until we have that formula.
Well, we can stand it down here if you can.
And in the meantime,
There are warships from every nation in the world, ready to come to this position and attack the island if we do not return within a specified time.
That is interesting indeed. For those warships, we'll find only the crater of an extinct volcano.
A volcano? Under the water?
So that's where you got the foundation of the island.
Precisely.
The island was built in the crater of a volcano, and that made your excavations easy. Gives you plenty of space under the ocean floor.
Several millions of cubic feet.
Millions of cubic feet? In what?
In Euclidia, where this room is located, where you are now more than 200 feet below the surface of the water. And this is the highest level of the city.
City? I told you, Mother, I thought there was a city here.
When will you let us see this place?
You will be free to explore it at your pleasure tomorrow. It is not necessary to warn you that escape is hopeless.
No, we can see that for ourselves. Anyway, we didn't come here this time to try and escape.
You may go to your quarters when you so desire.
And I suppose we've got to walk around here in the dark and fall over a lot of steel chairs trying to find a door. Hey!
You're wrong, Jerry. There's plenty of light now.
G47.
And Paley's.
They are gone.
Golly, gone without a sound. And they were both right here in front of us.
Don't let that bother you. We're going to have a lot of things more serious than disappearing tricks to contend with.
Yes, our position is serious now, Tex.
We cannot escape as we did from the island.
No, they're not kidding about that. We're 200 feet below the ocean.
200 feet. Under the water. It might as well be 200 miles.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. And now a message from the famous winner of the typical American boy contest, Popsicle Pete.
Hello, everybody. Do you know how many kids got popsicle presents today? 1,220. Say, maybe you were one of them. Doesn't it feel like Christmas when that package comes? And all you do to get one is save bags from Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. What presents you get? A wristwatch, camera, field glasses, a wallet, a punching bag, sleeping dolls. Hundreds of gifts, all free. Ask your ice cream man for a free gift list. Tells you how many bags you need for each present.
And don't forget the coupon that comes with that gift list.
I should say not. That coupon is worth 10 bags.
You'll find valuable gift bags on every genuine Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. Those great big delicious confections frozen on a stick. Only 5 cents each. And you can't beat that value. A great big, wholesome, refreshing, swell-tasting Popsicle, Fudgicle, or Creamsicle made by your ice cream maker right in town for only a nickel.
Save those bags, kids.
Now, Kane and our Daily, remember, are preparing to send Black Barney out from their new headquarters to obtain supplies. Buck and Wilma, meanwhile, have set out to pick up Barney's rocket trail with a gas analyzer, leaving Dr. Huey and Willie at the old scientist's laboratory immediately after Buck and Wilma have left. Now, here we go, 500 years into the future.
Yes, sir. I certainly hope Captain Rogers and Lieutenant Wilma find Mr. Barney now.
They should, Willie. They not only have a gas analyzer aboard their speed cruiser, with which they can pick up his rocket trail, but a gyrocosmic relativator as well.
That gyrocosmic thing is what made him go so fast when they took off, isn't it?
Yes, sir. They attained their maximum cruising speed immediately, without any loss of time for pickup.
Boy, that's some invention.
Well, it worked out even better than I expected. But how are you feeling now, Willie?
Well, I'm feeling fine now, Dr. Hewer. Only, I'm afraid I couldn't walk very well, though.
You certainly had a bad crack up in that rocket roadster.
I know it.
Well, the ambulance from the medical center will be here in a few minutes, and... Willie.
Yes, sir?
I have an idea. And I believe it's one that'll throw Kane and Ardela completely off their guard.
Well, what is your idea, Dr. Hewer?
If that pair are as clever as I think they are, they'll be on the lookout for any radio messages that'll indicate we're searching for them.
Oh, sure they will.
Furthermore, They're probably very much interested in knowing whether you got here all right with that message to Buck.
Well, sure they are, Doctor, only I don't see...
Exactly why my little plan should work. I'll get in touch with Central Radio Bureau immediately.
Oh, I see. And have them send out a call for Mr. Barney.
No, Willie. We mustn't let it be known that Barney's missing, unless it becomes absolutely necessary. After all, you know, he's Prime Minister of Mars, and he's a pretty important person.
Sure he is, Doctor. He's very important. That's why Killer Kane wanted to get hold of him.
Yes. Now, you wait. I'll put through this call. That'll give Buck and Wilma some help in locating Barney. Calling Central Radio Bureau. This is Dr. Hewer calling Central Radio Bureau.
What happened to Miss Ardela, huh? She's in a little room off this laboratory, Barney, trying to dry out the radio you brought in from the rocket plane.
Oh, on account of I got it wet coming through the falls that hides the door to this place, huh?
That's right. Don't worry about her.
Well, I wasn't. But there's another radio on the ship, you know. I only brought in a portable one.
And as soon as it's dried out, it'll be all we need.
Well, now, listen, Kate.
Well?
Me and you and all the rest of us know that the only reason I'm willing to work for you is because you put me under the cycle description rate.
So?
Well, it's all right. And I'm going to stick with you and all that sort of stuff. So you don't need to worry about nothing. But, listen.
Yes?
Didn't you say something about me going out to pick up a lot of supplies and stuff for us?
You're right. And as long as it has become dark outside, there's no reason why you can't leave right away.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Now, just what kind of stuff do you want me to get?
Everything you can lay your hands on that can possibly be of use to us. And if you pick one up and haul it back here on the magnetic grapples of your ship without attracting undue attention...
I know, a gyrocosmic thing.
Don't. The only gyrocosmic relativator in existence is the one we have here.
Oh, yeah.
No, Barney. We need a fast, well-armed fighting cruiser.
Okay, I'll get it.
Disintegrators, rocket pistols and guns, non-recoil energy projectors, a thermic radiation projector, if you can find one.
Well, that sends out a heat ray, don't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
A paralysis ray. Get anything that you can lay your hands on. Now, in order to successfully carry through our campaign against Rogers, we've got to have enough equipment to stand off a space army.
Well, just you leave it to me, and I'll get plenty of stuff.
I'll see that you do.
But do I have to do it all at night?
Yes. At least until we find out more about what Rogers and his friends are doing toward finding you.
But I thought you thought nobody'd know I was gone outside of Niagara.
Until we know that definitely, you'd best make your raids at night and on small cities. And take only a little from each one.
Okay.
And above all, don't stop anywhere near Niagara. And probably the best place for you to begin is out west of here. Avoid any rocket ships you may see along the way, too.
Yeah, Kane, I'll do that. And all at night.
Absolutely. Unless,
Unless what?
It might be a good plan for you to stop in, say, the small Midwestern towns in broad daylight.
Huh?
In spite of the fact you're the Martian Prime Minister.
Yeah.
You're well enough known down here on Earth to walk into a small town and get most anything you want, just for the asking. Provided, of course, the people would have no reason to suspect you're working for me.
Yeah, but for the time being, I think I'd better get the stuff on the sly like you said at first.
Yes, I guess so. Now, let's get out to the ship so you can take off.
Okay, Chief. You got a force ray so as to push away the waterfall that's outside the door, huh?
Yeah, right here. Come along.
Yeah. Well, that water suddenly covers up the entrance of our headquarters, don't it?
Perfectly. Now be ready to jump through it when I turn on this force ray.
All ready? Okay. Come on.
All right.
Yes, sir. Anybody could come down here in Smitty's old headquarters and poke around, and hey, they'd never know there was a laboratory back there.
Well, let's go on through this corridor and up to the ground level of the ship.
Yeah.
You left a passage through the pile of dirt covering the ship so we can get through it, didn't you?
Sure. Don't you see her there?
Good. Then you can get aboard and take off right away. Get in, Bonnie.
Okay, Chief.
And remember, carefully avoid any ships you may spot flying around. If anything happens to you to cramp your act, or if anybody becomes suspicious of what you're doing, you ought to forget that you ever saw me or know where I am.
Chief, you ain't got a thing to worry about. Just you leave everything to me. I got it all organized out as to what I'm going to do, and I'll be back in a few hours with all the weapons and stuff you could want.
Fine.
Hey, see? Now, first thing I'll do is turn on this here now radio in here.
And keep it on all the time you're in the air.
Yeah.
All right, Bonnie.
Radio Bureau,
Close your middle door.
Niagara. General call from Central Radio Bureau.
Listen.
Yeah, I wonder what it is.
All stations are ordered to be on the lookout for Willie, well-known protege of Black Barney, Prime Minister of Mars.
Hey!
Quiet.
The only clue as to his whereabouts is a small piece of his flying jacket found beside a badly wrecked air roadster in a lonely field northeast of Niagara.
Perfect.
All available citizens are urged to aid in the search for Willie. That is all.
Bonnie, that's exactly what I wanted to know.
You mean that Willie didn't get there to deliver the note to Captain Rudd?
No. It shows that because of your position as Prime Minister of Mars, they don't dare broadcast word of your disappearance.
Oh.
Yeah, we've nothing to fear. Now keep clear of Niagara, and you can work in broad daylight. Do anything you want.
Yes, sir.
So go to it, Bonnie. The field is yours. Oh, and be sure you keep the rocket dampener hooked in to change your ship's rocket trail.
Okay, Chief. Here I go.
Wait, Wilma. Let's get the rest of this message.
Okay, Buck.
All available citizens are urged to aid in the search for Willie. That is all.
Good. Good for Dr. Hewer.
You think he had them broadcast that message, Buck?
Sure. In the hopes that Kane and Ardela would pick it up and think they're safe as long as they stay clear of Niagara.
But why wasn't anything said of Barney?
You don't make it public when the Prime Minister of a neighboring planet has disappeared. You'd have a nice interplanetary situation on your hands.
Oh, I see.
Sure, and if Barney's with Kane and Ardela, all the looking that needs to be done is for them.
Yep. Thank goodness this rocket trail is holding out so well.
I guess the wind hasn't blown it around so badly after all.
And as Willie told us, we're still headed in the general That's Dr. Hewer calling us.
Yeah, on the confidential wavelength. I'll take it.
Dr. Hewer calling.
Hello, Doctor?
Have you found Barney's rocket trail all right, Buck?
Yes, sir. And we're bearing down on it as fast as we can, sir.
Well, don't try to travel too fast. Remember, you're flying pretty low, and too much speed will create dangerous atmospheric friction.
Yes, sir. And, Doctor...
Yes?
The trail is still leading us toward the ruins of ancient Philadelphia.
And of course, Kane and Ardela may have left that region just as soon as they sent Willie on with us in the rocket roadster.
Probably. But at any rate, we're on a hot trail, and the wind doesn't seem to have done it much damage.
Good.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Wilma.
Doctor, that was a great idea to send out the message about Willie.
Well, I hope it does us some good. Kane's a mighty clever chap, you know.
Entirely too clever.
In fact, I shouldn't be at all surprised to have him discover this confidential wavelength we usually use.
Oh, hardly, Doctor, unless he digs out the plans of the receivers you've built.
But now, look here, Buck.
Yes?
I've called you because I probably won't be able to get in touch with you again for some time.
Huh? Oh, why not, Doctor?
Well, I'm going out to Omaha to call on Elmo.
Oh.
You remember him?
Oh, sure do. He's the chap we rescued from that little planetoid that lies out in space, just beyond the orbit of Mars.
Uh-huh. And as head of the city of Omaha, he's doing a splendid job.
Be sure to remember us to him.
I'll be glad to. As you've no doubt guessed, I want to see him regarding a possible source of impenetrite ore in his vicinity.
Oh, good stuff. And don't worry about us. With this rocket trail holding out so well, we'll have Kane and Ardela and Barney back in Niagara before you know it.
Well, I hope so. Good luck.
Thanks. Signing off.
Signing off.
Well.
Look, Buck. We're nearing the ruins of old Philadelphia.
Then I'll cut down the power. Funny, the trail doesn't drop down toward the ground now, toward wherever they stopped to let Willie off.
Yes. I wonder...
Keep an eye on the dials now, and... Whoa! Here's where they stopped, all right.
Good.
Thing to do now is pick up the trail they left when they started off again.
Sure, and it shouldn't be so hard to find with this gyrocosmic relativator to start us off.
Right. We'll just start a quick circle. Look on the gas analyzer dial.
Yep, we're on it all right.
Yes, sir, and this is the trail that'll lead us straight to Killer Kane and Ardela, or my name it... Wilma.
What's the matter?
It's gone.
What?
The trail is completely stopped.
Yes, the trail is gone. Because of the way Kane threw in a rocket dampener when he made that trail with Barney's ship, they'll never pick it up again.
Did you get any popsicle presents yet? If you never let a day go by without saving popsicle, fudgicle, or creamsicle bags, you watch those bags pile up. Before you know it, you'll have enough for a fountain pen or table tennis, a wallet or a Buck Rogers telescope, games, books, lots of things. Get everybody eating popsicle, fudgicle, and creamsicle, and they can give you their bags.
Just get Mom and Dad to try a creamsicle and see how fast they buy more. Everybody loves a genuine creamsicle. That great big chunk of delicious ice cream on a stick, thickly coated with wonderful fresh fruit flavors or creamy chocolate fudge. And look how much you get for a nickel. Pure, wholesome ingredients, too, full of the energy we all need. It makes my mouth water just to think about a creamsicle. Be sure you get a real creamsicle with the name printed right on the bag. It's the United States registered trademark, and it stands for top quality.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Big Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Last week, you may remember, Flash and Dale and Con, captain of the Hawkmen, flew in a rocket ship to the yawning mouth of Kira, the wild and forbidding cave world. While they were escaping from a fierce band of lizard men who attacked them during a scouting expedition, they were seen by Tall, the chief magician of the Blue Magic Men. Tall hurried with the news to his beautiful queen, Azura, who, attracted by Flash's blonde hair and wonderful physique, decided to get acquainted with him. By means of magic sleep gas, Azura captured the three friends. Then she gave Flash lithium, the drug of forgetfulness, so that he could not remember who he was or what had happened. And then Azura caused Flash to fall in love with her. At first, Dale and Con misunderstood Flash's failure to recognize them. Later, they realized it must be some of Azura's magic and attempted to poison her. But the plot failed when the Queen ordered Dale to serve Flash first. To save her sweetheart, Dale dropped the tray, spilling the poisoned food. And Azura, furious at the apparent clumsiness, ordered her punished. Now we continue the story. Back in the kingdom of the Hawkmen, King Voltan and Dr. Zarkov are talking together.
Ah, Prince Zarkov, the palace seems empty since that pretty little bird flew away with Flash Gordon.
Yes, Voltan, it does. I miss Flash and Dale also. But I suppose we shall never hear from them again.
Not until he has conquered his kingdom of the caves and put it in running order.
With Captain Khan to help him, that should not take long. He is an excellent soldier.
Yes, I should hate to lose him. How are your newest inventions coming along, by the way, Zarkov?
Splendidly, splendidly. I cannot thank you enough for the wonderful apparatus and laboratory you have turned over to me. It is an inventor's paradise. Yes, that's what it is, an inventor's paradise.
Well, what is the latest creation of your great brain?
It is I beg your pardon, Voltan, but I dare not speak of it until I have tested it thoroughly. There must be no mistake, no flaw, when I give it to the kingdom.
Oh, of course, of course. I like your passion for being precise, Zarkov.
Someone is trying to get you on the space phone.
Answer, Zarkov.
At once, Voltan. This is Zarkov speaking. What? Where?
Who is it, Zarkov?
One of Khan's lieutenants. I can't hear you. You what? Hold on. King Flash and Dale and Khan are captured by Azura, queen of the Blue Magic Men. The lieutenant wants help.
Tell him aid shall be sent at once. Find out his exact position.
Huldan says he will send aid at once. What is your exact position?
Tell him you will be in charge of the men.
Yes? Yes? I have just been told I am to be in charge of the relief expedition. I shall start...
Within the hour.
Within the hour.
In the kitchens of the Palace of Azura, Queen of the Blue Magic Men, we find Dale and Khan.
Come on now, move along after that.
Cheer up, Princess Dale.
After that.
I can't be cheerful the way things are, Captain Khan. If only Azura hadn't asked me to serve the food to Flash first.
Well, she did. So there's nothing to be done about it. It wasn't your fault, Princess. It was the fate of the gods.
I'm glad you feel that way about it, Khan.
We must figure out a way to foil her magical power.
Stop your whispering. Does that too?
At once, guard.
Carry that over here. Come on now.
I don't see how I can help you to foil the Queen. She's had me chained to the stove as punishment. Now I can't even see Flash anymore.
Yes, you can, Princess.
How?
The chain on your manacles will permit you to walk to the end of the galley stove there. From that point, you can look out the grilled window into the garden. No doubt Flash will sometimes walk by.
With the Queen?
Yes, I'm afraid Azura will be with him. She seems to have claimed him as her own personal property.
Khan?
Yes, Princess?
You don't think that Flash has really fallen in love with her?
By my sword, I swear King Flash is bewitched. He doesn't know where he is or what he's doing. I know he wasn't pretending when he failed to recognize me.
What makes you so sure?
His eyes had a dull and glassy look.
Why, yes. I remember. I saw that, too. When he looked at me, it was as though he looked through me instead of at me.
If only I could reach my men. If there are any left. I don't know what happened after Azura broke that gas bomb in our faces.
Captain Khan?
Yes?
If you obey all the guards' orders, they may put you on parole or something. That may give you the freedom of the palace.
An excellent idea. Excellent. Thank you, Princess. Thank you. I will be the most obedient slave in the kitchen and see if that will earn me some privileges.
I will obey, too. Oh, Captain Khan, we must do something to save Flash from that wicked woman.
Do not worry, Princess. We will find a way somehow.
Here, you. Carry that kettle over to the table.
Certainly, guard. Let me take this one also.
Huh?
Meanwhile, roaring through space in a fleet of rocket ships with Prince Zarkov in command, an army of hawkmen are hurrying on their way to aid our friends. Suddenly, there looms up in front of them a whole squadron of cloudmen with huge, billowing cloaks. Joining hands in spreading the cloaks, the cloudmen form an opaque and impenetrable wall before the rocket ships. The hawkmen try to maneuver above them, but they rise at the same speed. Then the hawkmen try to fly below them, but they drop like lightning and present their solid barrier. Wheeling the fleet around, Zarkov signals for the dissolvo guns mounted on the nose of each rocket ship to start firing. Shot after shot is fired at the white billows until the path of the hawkmen has been cleared. Then Zarkov signals for double speed ahead to make up for lost time. At the same time, in the Palace of Azura, Flash is entertained by the Queen.
That gold armor isn't worthy of you, my prince. I must see to it that my armor makes something more fitting.
My beautiful Azura, the armor is but a symbol of your service. Even if it were made of the most precious and rare metals to be obtained and studded with jewels, my loyalty to you and your cause could not be greater.
You do love me, don't you, Flash?
I know of no one in the past, present, or even the future for whom I have felt such a deep love, my gorgeous queen.
No one, my handsome prince?
No one. It is you and you alone I love.
It is sweet, very sweet to hear you speak those words. As long as you do and mean them, I will reward you well.
To be with you, to be allowed to serve and love you is all the reward I desire, my darling.
I shall have to think of some special privilege for that pretty speech.
Then let me kiss your hand.
Here, my prince.
Fair hand, so delicate, so shapely. Ah, how many men have lost their hearts and heads trying to gain you.
Flatterer.
I only speak from my own reactions, Azura. I know that I should be willing to risk everything to win you for myself.
We shall see. We shall see. Flash, I must give some orders to the servants. Go out into the garden and wait for me. I will join you presently.
Your slightest wish is a command, my beautiful one.
Flash! Flash!
Eh? Who's calling me?
It's Dale. Dale Arden.
Oh, there you are. I see you now. There in that grilled window. What are you doing there, girl?
I'm a prisoner here, Flash. Ever since I dropped that tray of food.
Oh, yes. I wondered where I'd seen you. You tripped, and Azura ordered you punished.
He has had me chained to the galley stove. My chain just reaches to this window. Are you all right, Flash?
Am I all right? Of course I am. Why shouldn't I be? Did you think Azura had punished me for something, too?
No. I just wanted to know how you are.
Well, that's very kind of you, girl. And since you have taken such an interest in my welfare, I'll take an interest in yours.
How can you?
You're too young and pretty to be made a prisoner in the kitchen. I'll ask Azura to free you.
Oh, no, you mustn't.
Mustn't? Who says so? I shall ask Azura at once.
Oh, no, Flash. You mustn't.
On and on roar the rocket ships of the Hawkmen into the yawning mouth of Kira, through the caverns of the cliff dwellers, through the caves of living, man-eating plants. And finally they come into the enormous transparent cave where the handfuls of survivors from Khan's squadron are waiting. The fleet lands and Prince Zarkov is the first to get out. The lieutenant who called for aid on the space phone comes up to him.
Well, what is the latest news, Lieutenant?
We were afraid something had happened to you, Prince Zarkov.
We were delayed in a skirmish with the Cloudmen. What is the latest report on the fate of my friends?
We don't know what happened to them. After the Blue Magic Men captured King Flash and Princess Dale and our captain, they blasted the tunnel leading to their land, killing most of our men.
Is there any chance that Flash and his companions are still alive?
Who knows? That is a land of magic.
I have brought a battery of ray cannons with us. We will blast our way to my friends.
Unaware of their impending danger, Azura and Tal confer in the palace of the Blue Magic Men.
You understand, Tal?
Oh, perfectly, Your Majesty.
There is nothing too good in my whole kingdom for my new prince.
His every wish shall be obeyed, O Queen. His slightest whim fulfilled.
I do not know what I shall do with his companions. They are a problem. I do not want them around, and yet I cannot execute them. If the lithium should wear off and Flash discovered what I had done...
Azura, where are you?
Flash. I told him I would only be a minute. The dear boy is so mad about me, he cannot bear to have me out of his sight.
Azura!
Open the door, Tal.
At once, O Queen.
Here I am, Flash.
Azura, will you do... Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't know you were still busy.
Tal, come quickly.
I am summoned, Your Majesty. Have I your permission?
Yes, Tal. Go.
Your Majesty.
Well, Flash, were you lonely without me? Is that why you came calling for me?
Azura, you're good and kind.
This sounds like a man who has a favor to ask.
I have, my queen.
Ask it. It shall be granted.
Thank you, Azura. I knew you were kind and good. She will be so grateful.
She? Who?
The girl who tripped while serving us food the other night.
Dale. Was the favor you asked for her?
Yes. She called to me from a window of the kitchens and told me she was chained to the galley stove.
Well?
I promised to ask you to free her, and you have.
Wait. I thought the favor was for yourself, Flash, not one of my prisoners.
Well, there's nothing I need for myself, Azura, and the girl is too young and too pretty to deserve such a fate. I thought you just and kind. Do not cause me to change my mind.
You make it hard for me, Flash. I've never freed a prisoner in my life.
Your Majesty.
What does this unceremonious entrance mean, Tal? I did not send for you.
I humbly pray your pardon, Your Majesty, but I have news of the most extreme urgency.
Speak, then.
Our land is being invaded by the Hawkmen.
Hawkmen? We must go forth to war. The army must be called out. I will press the signal.
And who is to lead your men into battle, O Queen?
Of course. I must appoint someone to head the army. Will you lead our men into battle, Flash?
Your Majesty.
Serving as your commander-in-chief would be a pleasure, my queen.
Her Majesty puts this stranger over me. Let her beware.
What will happen when Flash leads Queen Azura's magic men against the gallant Hawkmen? Follow the adventures of Flash Gordon in next Sunday's Comic Weekly, the world's greatest collection of humor and adventure. You will find it with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. See for yourself in full-colored pictures Flash Gordon, Queen Azura, Prowl, or Chief Magician, and all the other characters you have just heard. Then, of course, you'll want to see Skippy, the Captain Yammer Kids, Jungle Jim, Bringing Up Father, and the Little King. You will find them waiting for you in next Sunday's Comic Weekly, the only Comic Weekly. Be sure and get the big, full-colored Comic Weekly with your Hearst newspaper next Sunday. And don't forget to listen again next week at the same time to another chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, whose fight to destroy the one power on Earth that can destroy him is now taking a new turn. And now, the adventures of Superman. In danger of his life, Superman is searching desperately for the Scarlet Widow, who almost destroyed him with a piece of kryptonite. The kryptonite is a fragment of the planet Krypton where Superman was born, and robs him of his strength when he comes within 10 feet of it. But unknown to Superman, part of the kryptonite was stolen from the Widow by Der Teufel, Germany's most brilliant scientist. Unable to dissolve the strange green glowing metal in order to form a powerful atomic substance, Teufel told a Nazi underground agent named Kraus that he must take the kryptonite to Germany, where he knew of a chemist who could dissolve it and create an Atom Man, a creature who could control Superman at will. Meanwhile, in the back room of a small book and gift shop in a fashionable district of Metropolis, the gaunt, ugly Scarlet Widow angrily hurls a stack of telegrams at the feet of Sniggers, her little henchman. Listen.
My agent can't find Teufel in Detroit. They can't find him in Los Angeles. They can't find him in Cuba or Mexico or Canada. Where is he?
He's a sly one, right enough, Teufel is. But if you listen to me with her, you'll forget about him.
Forget about him? Are you crazy, Sniggers? He got away with 1/4 of the kryptonite. Worth $1 million.
I'm sure he did, and I'd like to slit his dirty throat for it. But we still got 3 pieces of the blooming stuff left. And that's why I think you're making a bad mistake with her. Suppose the Vulture and them other 2 blokes finds out we dumped Superman in the ocean, and he's dead. They won't pay us nothing for the kryptonite then.
How can they find out? Only you and I know who was in that cedar chest.
Yeah, they're smart, they are.
Then let them find Teufel. They know I won't sell them any part of the kryptonite until I see that double-crossing Nazi dead at my feet. Right now he's alive someplace, somewhere. Why don't the police find him?
I don't know. The police is hunting for us, too. Don't forget that. And every day that blinking Daily Planet newspaper puts descriptions of us in their first page, telling anyone what sees us to call the bobbies.
Don't worry, we're safe here.
I don't like it. Not a bit I don't. Look at Widder. Let's sell what we've left of the blooming kryptonite and hop it out of here.
No, I said. Not until I see Teufel dead. Now, get off that chair. I want to use the typewriter.
What you going to do?
I'm going to send a special delivery letter to every one of my agents all over the world. telling them I'm raising my price to $200,000 for Teufel.
Ooh, that's a lot of pounding money, that is.
He's got to be found. He didn't evaporate into thin air. He's someplace, somewhere. And I'm going to find him and see him dead if it's the last thing I ever do.
As the Scarlet Widow's long, bony fingers tap out an urgent command to her underworld agents to find the man who robbed and double-crossed her, Der Teufel himself, carefully disguised in a wig of thinning gray hair and a short, stubby beard, his fleshy face cleverly molded to new lines and contours, and wearing a black Homburg hat and mink-lined overcoat, has just stepped from a clipper plane at Lisbon. Holding a bulky briefcase close to his side, he extends a passport to a customs officer who examines it perfunctorily as a large transport warms its powerful motors nearby.
You are Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, senor?
Yes.
You travel from here to Madrid?
I do. On my way to my own country, Belgravia, where I'm finance minister.
See. Here is your visa, senor. Your plane leaves in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Hurrying to the transport plane, his briefcase clutched tightly under his arm, Der Teufel is flown high over the Pyrenees and set down at bustling Le Bourget airport of Paris. Once more, his bulky briefcase held tightly under his arm, he presents his passport to a customs inspector.
Oui, Monsieur Orlovsky. The newspaper reporters, they hear you arrived today and they ask for you.
If you could perhaps not tell the reporters I'm arrived. My plane to Berlin leaves very soon, and I wish to rest before continuing my journey.
Oui, Monsieur Orlovsky, I will say nothing to them. Voilà, your visa, monsieur. Bon voyage.
Merci, monsieur. Merci.
Still undetected in his disguise of Dr. Orlovsky, finance minister of Belgravia, Der Teufel, carrying a small piece of the deadly kryptonite, which he believes can be used to create an atomic creature, able to forever control the strength and power of Superman, waits in Paris for a plane to carry him to Germany and his mysterious destination. Meanwhile, haggard from his unrelenting but futile search for the Scarlet Widow and the kryptonite, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, is in the teletype room at Metropolis Police Headquarters with Inspector Henderson.
Here's the flash from Washington. No soap, Kent. The fellow they picked up as Papa Rose turned out to be a respectable high school teacher. A refugee.
Well, if you'd only listen to me, Inspector, and concentrate on the search for the Scarlet Widow and Sniggers, I think you'd get further. They have the kryptonite.
Oh, you and your kryptonite. I thought you had better sense, Kent.
Why?
Believing that a piece of fallen meteor can harm Superman.
Well, it can do more than that, Inspector. Ultimately, it can destroy him.
What? Look, I always had a lot of respect for you, Kent, but after a crack like that,
I think I'm crazy, huh? Well, listen, I can tell...
call for you, Inspector.
Oh, thank you, Miss Hardy. I'll be right along.
I had the call transferred to the teletype room. You can take it on the phone right here.
Okay. Excuse me, Kent.
Certainly.
Inspector Henderson speaking. Oh, yes, Haley. What? Say that again. What? A fire with green flames?
Green flames?
What have you been drinking?
Inspector, what did you say
Just
about...
a minute, Kent, will you please? What did you just say, Haley? I didn't get it. A murder? Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Sure, I'll be right out. Where is it? Huh? 226? Yeah, okay. All right, I'll see you right away. Well, how do you like that, Kent?
What?
Haley gives me some cock and bull story about a fire in a basement. A fire that burns with green flames, he says, before he breaks down and tells me there's a murdered man in the basement. Come on, we'll have a look.
Fire that burns with green flames, huh? It's very interesting, Inspector. Very interesting. I wonder if it could possibly be...
Eagerly, Clark Kent hurries from police headquarters with Inspector Henderson. Who is the murdered man at the scene of the strange fire of green flames? We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But right now, here's a word from your announcer.
Say, your eyes will pop, gang, when you get your first comic button from this brand new series in packages of Kellogg's Pep. These new buttons are really snappy. Bright, full-colored pictures of familiar comic strip characters like Uncle Walt and Skeezix and Nina and Superman, of course. Each one printed in bright colors on a sturdy metal button you'll want to wear pinned on your jacket or dress or cap. Now, there are 18 different buttons in all, so get busy. Collect the whole series. Start out by asking Mom to get you a package or two of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. That's the only way you can get these new comic buttons, you know. You don't send in any money, not even a box top. You just look inside the PEP package for your prize. One of these brand new exciting comic buttons or a military insignia or warplane button. There's a button in every package of P.E.P. PEP, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman.
Clark Kent and Inspector Henderson have just arrived at the scene of a recent fire, the basement of a dingy tenement house. The basement, equipped as a cluttered, dirty little laboratory, has been half burned out, and the charred walls are a strange green. Leaving Officer Haley outside to keep back the curious crowd, Kent, Henderson, and a police surgeon are examining two men who lie on the basement floor. One, a short, foreign-looking old man with thinning gray hair and a stubby beard, lies on his side, dead, the blade of a knife in his back. He is clad only in his underwear. The other man, tall and lean, sallow-faced, breathes faintly.
This tall young fellow, how bad is he, Doc?
Beyond help, Inspector. 3rd-degree burns. He won't last more than a few minutes.
His driving license says Fred Krause. This address. No other identification. There might be some prints on the knife. I wonder who the old fellow is and where his clothes are. He looks kind of familiar.
I know who he is, Inspector.
You do? Who is he, Kent?
Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, finance minister of Belgravia.
Oh?
He came to the United States a few weeks ago to try to float a government loan.
Are you sure?
Positive. I interviewed him.
What's the finance minister of Belgravia doing here in this dump?
And with a knife in his back. There's a nice kettle of fish.
Yeah. Oh.
What's the matter, Kent?
What? I don't know. I suddenly felt weak and dizzy. What? Great Scott.
What's the matter now?
That test tube I just dropped. I was examining it. Inspector, there was kryptonite in that test tube a short time ago.
Kryptonite?
Yes. That accounts for the green flames. The Scarlet Widow must have been here. And maybe the Vulture, the Teufel, and that gang, too. They killed Dr. Orlovsky for some reason. Something to do with me.
With you?
Huh? Oh, I mean with Superman.
Oh.
This man, Fred Krause. He must know where they went and what they're up to. Doctor, you've got to bring him, too. He's got to tell us.
Well, what do you say, Doc? Any chance?
I don't know, Inspector. He's in pretty bad shape, but I'll try. I'll need some hot water.
Well, wait, there's a sink over there, Kent. Maybe
I'll see. Yes, it's hot. I'll get a pan. You've got to bring him too, Doctor. You've got to. He can tell us where the widow is and the kryptonite. He must be made to talk.
Quickly and skillfully, the police surgeon works to revive Fred Krause, the Nazi underground leader. Will he succeed? And will Krause tell Superman where the Teufel is? And of Teufel's monstrous plan to create an atomic monster, capable of destroying not only Superman, but all of civilization? At this moment, Teufel, in his disguise of Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, is preparing to leave Paris for Germany. Never was Superman in such grave danger as now. So don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications.
Kellogg's Pep,
the super delicious cereal, presents
the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
And now, the adventures of Superman. A fragment of kryptonite which robs Superman of his strength when it is brought near him was stolen from the Metropolis Museum by the Scarlet Widow. The widow, in turn, was robbed of a quarter of it by Der Teufel, a brilliant but unscrupulous Nazi scientist. Disguised as Dr. Orlovsky, a foreign minister, Teufel, whose name in English means the devil, is speeding to Germany with the kryptonite, where he plans to create an atomic monster able to control Superman and perhaps conquer the world. Meanwhile, in his guise of Clark Kent, Superman and Police Inspector Henderson arrived at the scene of a fire in a secret basement laboratory, where they found the real Dr. Orlovsky murdered and a man named Krause dying from burns. Discovering traces of kryptonite in a test tube, Kent urged a police surgeon to try to revive Krause. And as we continue now, in the charred laboratory, the police surgeon works over Krause, while Kent and Inspector Henderson watch anxiously. Listen.
Well, how is he, Doc?
Very low, Inspector. It's just a matter of minutes now.
We've got to talk to him, Doctor. Can't you give him adrenaline or something?
Well, I've given him chloramine, Kent. If anything will bring him around, that will. I'm not too hopeful, though.
He must come to. We've got to get him to tell us who was here.
Whoever it was murdered Dr. Orlovsky.
Well, not more than murder took place here, Inspector. Something to do with the kryptonite.
Oh, forget that nonsense, Kent.
Nonsense? I tell you that unless that kryptonite is found, and soon, it may mean the end of Superman.
What's that?
Don't pay any attention to him, Doc. Somebody fed him a lot of hot air about Superman being in danger, and he fell for it. Now, Doc, you've got to bring Krause around.
Well, I'm doing all I can, Inspector, but...
Wait a minute. He just groaned.
Yes, I think he's coming to.
Good.
Teufel.
What did he say?
Teufel.
Teufel. Orlovsky.
You hear that, Kent? He knows about Dr. Orlovsky.
Yes, and apparently Teufel was here.
Now, what about Orlovsky, Krause? Who killed him?
Teufel.
Teufel killed him?
Control.
Wait, Inspector.
Superman.
His pulse is strengthening, Inspector. It's just possible to have a rational moment. I suggest that you decide on the most important question you want to ask him.
Ask him where the kryptonite is, Inspector.
Are you out of your mind, Kent? I want to know who killed Orlovsky.
But if you find out who...
Teufel. Where are you?
He's rational now. Quick, question him.
Krause, where is the kryptonite?
Shut up, Kent.
Teufel has it.
Where is Teufel?
I said shut up, Kent. Now, Krause, listen to me. Who killed Dr. Orlovsky?
Teufel.
I thought so. Where is he, Krause? Where did he go?
He went.
Where did he go?
All right, where? Where, Krause?
He went to Atom Man.
Atom Man?
I'm afraid he's sinking, Inspector.
Listen, Krause, where? Where?
Atom Man. Destroy.
Krause. Listen, Krause.
It's no use, Inspector. He's dead.
Well, that's that, Kent. Now I'm in a fine spot. I've got to tell the Belgravian government and the newspapers that Teufel, who broke out of prison, somehow knifed Dr. Orlovsky and escaped again. Now, isn't that going to make me look good?
We've got to find Teufel, Inspector.
No kidding. Well, what do you think we've been trying to do ever since he broke out of the pen?
But now it's even more important that we find him. He's got the kryptonite.
No, that again.
And apparently he worked out some experiment in this laboratory with it. Something he told Krause will enable Germany to control Superman and rule the world. Something to do with an atom man.
Have you gone nuts, Kent?
No.
First, you get all steamed up about that piece of meteor endangering Superman.
Well, it does.
And now you take a dying man's babbling seriously. Look, I used to think you were a good reporter, but can't I...
Inspector.
Well, what is it, Doc?
There's nothing more I can do here. The wagon's on the way, so I'll be running along.
Okay, Doc. And thanks a lot.
So long. Goodbye, Kent.
Goodbye, Doctor. Oh, you've got to listen to me, Inspector.
Look, I haven't got time to listen to fairy
But
tales.
it's not a... Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Here comes a frock coat and silk hat. He must be from the Belgravian embassy.
Inspector Henderson.
Yes, I'm Henderson.
I am Count Borodeck. I received a telephone call.
Yes, I know. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, Count.
The police officer said it had something to do with Dr. Orlovsky, our finance minister. But that I cannot understand because...
just step over here, will you, please? Oh, by the way, this is Clark Kent, reporter for the Daily Planet. Count Bilovich, the Belgravian ambassador.
How do you do, Mr. Kent?
All right, here we are. Prepare yourself for a shock, Count. He's under this canvas.
Who is?
I want you to identify him. Look.
Good heavens. Dr. Orlovsky.
You were right, Kent.
But this cannot be, Inspector. It cannot be Dr. Orlovsky.
What do you mean? You just said it was.
Yes, it is. But how can he be here in Metropolis?
Come again, please.
What do you mean, Count Bilovich?
Why, 3 days ago, Dr. Orlovsky left Metropolis by clipper plane to return to Belgravia.
What's that?
Yes. His mission here was completed. He returned to our country to report to Parliament. I myself said farewell to him and saw him depart for the airport.
Looks like he didn't get to the airport. He was waylaid by Teufel for some reason and brought here. Now, why would he...
I think I know, Inspector.
Orlovsky, I cannot understand. How did he get here? Who did this to him?
Just a minute, Count. What did you start to say, Kent?
I said I think I know what happened. Dr. Orlovsky is about the same size as Teufel.
What's that got to do with it?
I think Teufel, who was probably working with Krause here, found out about Dr. Orlovsky leaving the country. They trapped him here, killed him, then Teufel dressed in his clothes.
Hey, Orlovsky's clothes are missing. Go ahead, Kent.
Teufel made himself up to look enough like Orlovsky to pass muster with the customs inspectors, took Orlovsky's passport and the kryptonite, and got on the Clipper plane as Dr. Orlovsky.
By George, that might be it, Ken.
I'm sure it is.
But who is Teufel? Why did he do this to poor Orlovsky?
Teufel is a Nazi scientist, one of the cleverest Hitler had. A year ago, he almost succeeded in solving the secret of harnessing atomic energy. Now, with the kryptonite, he... Great Scott! Krauss talked of an atom man. Oh, no, it can't be. It's too fantastic.
What are you I do not understand.
We've got to stop Teufel. Come on, Inspector.
Well, if you're right, Ken, and Teufel is traveling disguised as Dr. Orlovsky...
I'm sure he is.
All right, then, we'll get him. We'll contact the Clipper forts on the European police. There's my car. Come on, Kondralovich. We'll drop you at the embassy.
Thank you, Inspector.
Cassidy, don't let anybody in here.
Hurrying from the shabby basement laboratory, Clark Kent and Inspector Henderson leap into Henderson's car to take up the trail of Der Teufel. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But first, Dan McCullough is waiting to talk to us.
You know, gang, there's sure a mad rush for the Kellogg's Pep package these days, because that's the only place you can get those brand new comic buttons all the gang's collecting. And are these new buttons swell? Full-color, true-to-life pictures of your old favorite comic strip characters. Looking so real, you'd think they were going to speak. There's Orphan Annie and Haroldine and Winnie Winkle, Superman, of course. 18 different buttons in all. You'll have a mighty smart collection when you have these new buttons pinned on your jacket or cap. You'll have a lot of fun collecting these comic buttons, too, swapping duplicates with your pals, and, why, it even seems to make it more fun to follow the funny papers when you've got buttons with the real characters on them. And the best part is, you don't have to spend any of your allowance for these new comic buttons. You don't even send in a box top. Can't buy them anywhere. They come only as prizes in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. So ask Mom to get you a supply of Pep tomorrow. Inside, you'll find your exciting prize, one of these brand new comic buttons, or a military insignia or warplane button. There's a prize in every package of P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Inspector Henderson, via shortwave, is attempting to intercept Der Teufel, whom he and Kent believe escaped from Metropolis by clipper plane, disguised as Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, the finance minister of Belgravia. Now, at a powerful shortwave receiver in the radio room at headquarters, Henderson and Kent stand by anxiously as the International Police Channel becomes alive with confirming messages.
R5C506, Lisbon, Portugal, to WMPD Metropolis Police.
It's Lisbon.
Quiet, will you?
Orlovsky arrived Tuesday 12th. Proceeded via Iberian transport plane to Madrid. I will repeat. Orlovsky arrived Tuesday 12th. Proceeded via Iberian transport plane to Madrid.
Paris, Sûreté, official 21 to WMPD Metropolis Police. Per your request, Orlovsky arrived Le Bourget Field Wednesday, 11:30 p.m., 13th. Departed Thursday, 2:40 a.m., via French Empire Airways. Destination, Berlin. Repeating message, per your request. Orlovsky arrived Le Bourget Field Wednesday, 11:30 p.m., 13th. Departed Thursday.
United States Army Occupational Police, Division 22, WMPD, Metropolis Police Department. Alexander Orlovsky arrived Berlin via French Empire Airways Thursday, the 14th, 11:50 a.m. Arranged reservation on Baltic Transport Line for Belgravia. Leaving Berlin 2:40 p.m., but did not appear again at airport. Full investigation underway. So far, no report. We'll keep you advised. United States Occupational Police signing off with WMPD, Metropolis Police Department.
Lisbon, Madrid, Paris, Berlin, and then no report. Alexander Orlovsky, believed to be Der Teufel, seems to have vanished into thin air. And this man, the devil, has in his possession the one thing in all the universe capable of rendering Superman harmless to the forces of evil. What does Teufel intend doing with it? Yes, and what is the Atom Man of which he speaks? From now on, the excitement is breathtaking as the dangerous trail leads across 4 countries and thousands of miles. Superman is battling for his very life, so join with him as he fights to the death. Don't miss a word of Monday's tense and startling episode. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow The Adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. A gang of convicts, the most dangerous criminals in the universe, have escaped from lonely Prison Rock in the asteroid belt. And now, throughout the universe, all ships, patrols, and stations of the Solar Guard are on the alert for news about these desperate men.
Attention all units. Gang thought to be the escaped convicts has just raided Ganymede Colony. These men must be apprehended. End transmission. The governor of Ganymede Colony, wounded in the convict attack, has died. There is no present information on the criminal's whereabouts. All sectors maintain constant watch. End transmission.
Among those listening to these grim messages are Space Cadets Tom Corbett and Roger Manning, blasting through space in a small rocket scout. They listen unhappily because, though they quelled the convict mutiny on Prison Rock, they were unable to prevent its ringleaders from escaping.
Tom, this burns my jets. First those convicts steal our ship, the Polaris, and now we get sent back to Earth.
The whole Solar Guard's on the job, Roger. And after all, we're still only cadets.
Oh, we stopped the break on Prison Rock, stopped it cold.
Yeah, but not Hogue and Bull Carson.
Blast it, Junior, that wasn't our fault. Orders or no orders, I've got a good mind to go after them.
First, we don't know where they are. Second, we'd get booted out of the academy.
I don't care.
Have your jets and keep your eye on the radar screen, Space Boy. Who knows? We may run into those babies.
Listen, Paul. Wait, Hope. Attention. Coming in on the audio. Attention, all Solar Guard patrols in 3rd and 4th quadrants. The cruiser, believed to be the stolen Polaris, has been reported at 0400 at the following approximate position. Coordinate 684430. I repeat, coordinate 684430. End transmission.
It worked, Hogue. The Solar Guard's off our track.
Yeah, for the moment. But, Bull, just about every guard and rocket scout in the universe is hunting for
Let
us.
'em hunt. This ship is fast, and we got plenty of fuel from those colonies we knocked over.
Perhaps we should lie low for a while at the hideout.
Squat on that dismal hunk of space junk, not me. I had 12 years on Prison Rock.
But, Bull, just a couple of months.
No, I said. The space freighter Alpha will be along soon, loaded with gold and vanadium and a cinch to hijack.
It's too risky. It'll take hours to transfer the stuff. If anything goes wrong, if they get a message...
Leave it to me. With the guns in this cruiser, I'll blast a hole into the Alpha's head before the crew knows we're around.
It's a terrible risk, and it means the murder...
Got your jets of blips coming in on the screen. Gully, give me a blast on the port steering rockets.
All right, Paul.
Bull, listen to me.
I said cut your jets. I'm running this show.
You're not. I planned to break everything. I was to be in charge.
You was to be, but you ain't. We need a man to run this show.
You're not the only one on this rocket. The other men have a right to say...
Go ahead, ask them. One word from me and they'll dump you out into space.
You wouldn't do it.
See me?
Let me go. Let me go.
Now keep out of my way. Yeah, that's the Alpha, all right. Millions in gold and vanadium. Give me a blast from the starboard rockets, Cully, and stand by. We're going in for the kill. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, now there are 2 reasons why you should get the build-up wheat cereal Kellogg's Pep. First, you'll enjoy the wonderful, swell-tasting malt flavor of Kellogg's Pep. And second, you can use the box top to help get a pair of official space goggles. Now, these space goggles are the very same as the goggles issued to the space cadets at Space Academy. They're made of a special plastic for clear visibility under all space conditions. Now, don't confuse these goggles with ordinary goggles. You know, the kind with a lens over each eye. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. You know, it even fits over eyeglasses, too. This advanced design is now being used by automobile racers, motorcycle riders, and other racing men. Well, now you join these men with your own space goggles. So follow these official instructions. To get your space goggles, send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't wait, spacemen. Send for your space goggles today.
Several hours have passed since Bull Carson, the escaped convict, launched his ferocious attack on the space freighter Alpha. Now, not far from that spot, Tom and Roger in their small rocket scout receive an urgent command, crackling through space from headquarters of the Solar Guard Command.
Attention all rocket crews in vicinity of A Quadrant, Sector 9. The space freighter Alpha en route to Earth from Jupiter has been unreported since 0900 hours. If you sight her, report immediately. This is urgent. End transmission.
Hey, Tom. A Quadrant, Sector 9. That's us.
Well, not quite.
What do you mean? It's hardly 15,000 miles
We
away.
weren't asked to search. Just watch.
Oh, now listen, Junior.
Well, okay, Roger. It may be a breach of discipline. But let's see what we can see. I don't know, Roger. We've been searching for an hour. Better get back on course for the academy.
Last, I suppose. Hey, Tom, wait. I've got a blip on the radar screen.
Where?
It's gone now. That's strange. It just seemed to drift in and out.
Sure you're not looking for an excuse to stay here?
No. There it is again.
Yeah. It's hardly moving, just floating, sort of. Roger, if that's the lost freighter, she must be in trouble.
Won't take long to find out. She's not very far from us. Hold everything, Tom, while I plot a course.
How about it, Roger? We ought to be pretty close to the space freighter now, if it is the freighter.
Should be at her position in a wink, Tom. Ease off.
Right.
Let's see if we can spot her through the viewport.
Not yet.
Ease just a touch to starboard, about a point. That's it now.
There she is. It's the Alpha, all right. And look, Roger, 2 big holes in her head.
And Tom, she's trailing vapor. Must have been shot up. Look, she's turning. There's another rocket coupled to her.
It's the Polaris.
Yeah, by the moons of Jupiter.
Quick, Roger, get on the audio to Solar Command.
Right. Tom, they've seen us. Look, the gun ports are opening on the Polaris. They're going to fire.
We've got to get out of here.
Hard to starboard.
Right.
Rings of Saturn, they got us. Lancing shot, but our power's gone. Roger, the mass is rising like crazy. Get on the ball.
Nothing we can do, Tom. They hit the reaction chamber. We'll be blowing a space junk in a minute.
Into the jet boat. We've got to bail out on the double.
That was close, Tom. We got out of there just in time.
Stow the conversation, Roger. Get on the audio and call Solar Command. This is their chance to bag those convicts.
Right. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
No audio, Junior.
No audio?
Well, those rocket blasts must have smashed it.
Oh, no.
How are we on fuel, Tom?
Oh, well, only enough for a bare 2,000 miles.
Well, we've got to find some place to let down, even if it's just a hunk of space junk.
That's true. Being cooped up in this buggy won't be very comfortable after the first couple of days. Hey, Roger. What's the blip on your radar screen?
Not too far off, whatever it is, and pretty big.
Roger, you wanted an asteroid? There it is.
Yeah. Ease off a point or two.
Right.
A little more. Right. Now, let's go. Maybe we'll find another tropical paradise in space like Delport.
Let's not bet on it. While we're underway, we can put on helmets and spacesuits. Then we'll be ready for anything. Roger, and inspect your tropical paradise.
Junior, this is the loneliest hunk of space junk I've ever seen.
What'd you expect, Venus Beach? I must admit, though, even Frozen Rock looks cheerful in comparison to this place.
How are we ever going to get off of here? Old Astro's going to miss us, Tom.
Throttle down on such talk. Our oxygen will hold out for a week, and that time anything can happen.
Oh, sure. A fairy godmother might come and wave her magic wand and say that, hey, where you are? Hey, who in the...
It's no fairy godmother. Look.
Well, what do you know? A real old-timer. Hey!
Don't you move!
He's pointing a parallel ray at us.
Yeah, not very friendly. Well, listen, mister.
Going. You know the law for prospecting on space junk? First man to stake a claim, it's his. And this is mine, Sam Harvey. Now get back in your boat and blast off.
Oh, wait a minute.
Blast off my claim or I'll burn you.
Listen, will you? We're not prospectors.
You ain't?
No, we're space cadets. My name is Tom Corbett, and this is Roger Manning.
You're talking mighty glib, but I ain't putting this gun away till I'm certain.
Who do you think we are? Two-headed men from the Milky Way?
Well, you might be a couple of them escaped convicts I heard about on my audio.
Hey, he's got a communicator.
Listen, old-timer.
Wait, Mr. Harvey, can we use it to get a message out to the Solar Guard?
Solar Guard? Guess you do be space cadets. All right. Okay, I'll put away my gun.
That communicator, lead it to us.
No, go. Receiver's still pretty fair, but the transmitter stopped operating years ago. I threw her away.
Oh, we sure get all the breaks.
Sorry, fellas, but leastways I can offer you a place to get out of them spacesuits.
You can?
Yep. Got a prefab space hut. Ain't nothing fancy, mind, but comfortable.
Mr. Harvey, let's get going.
See, boys, I'm a prospector. All my life I've been trying to strike it rich, digging through one pile of space junk after another. Now, right here on this asteroid, I made it. Titanium. I'm rich, boys.
Well, congratulations.
And I hear about them escaped prisoners. Then a rocket ship comes blasting over, way out all the space lanes, and then you two show up.
A ship's been around here? What kind?
Well, I don't know for sure. My radar screen's pretty old. Looked like a pretty big cruiser, though.
A cruiser?
Yep. Passed over here just before you come. Seemed to set down some ways off. There's a pretty big asteroid there in Sector 8.
Tom, could it have been the Polaris?
Could very well be. Mr. Harvey, how about your rocket ship?
Well, got old Jenny, 40 years old if she's a day, and she rattles considerable, but she'll still fly. Why, Cadet?
If you could let us borrow it.
No. You want to go hunt for them convicts, don't you?
Why, yes.
Well, forget it. Forget the convicts. We'll put all the fuel into old Jenny, blast off for home, report the find, and you'll get a share of my strike. You boys will be rich, too.
Huh? Sorry, Mr. Harvey. Those men are killers, and we're going after them in the jet boat.
It's 1,000 to 1 you'll never make it, and if you do get that fur, they'll kill you.
You may be right, but we've got to go just the same. Come on, Roger, let's suit up. We've got a date with 1,000 to 1 gamble.
Tom, in the viewport. That must be the asteroid we want.
Uh-huh. And there's the valley Harvey talked about. Bowl-shaped with rock ridges all around. We've made it.
Keep under the ridges, then we may not register on the radar screen.
Right. You see the little shelf Harvey mentioned? We'll land there, then go up to the ridge and see.
Well, land quick. I'll bet we don't have much more than a cup full of fuel in this space buggy.
Right. Here we go.
Uh-oh, fuel's gone. We didn't even have a cup full.
But it's all right. We're close enough.
That shelf looks rough.
Yeah, we're going to bounce a little. Hang on, Roger. Here we go.
Bounce a little, you said. I hope our convict friends didn't hear us.
We'll find out in a moment. Get your helmet on.
All set. Wish we had guns.
Never mind. Get the hatch open.
Right. Open she is.
Come on.
Don't hear or see a thing, Tom.
If anybody's here, they'll be in the bowl. We'll jump the ridge and look-see.
That's a good 40 feet, Junior.
Well, there's practically no gravity here. We'll float up like bubbles. Let's go in as quiet as you can. One more jump and we'll be at the top of the ridge, Roger. Easy now. Don't let them see you.
This is a wild goose chase. Old Harvey's got cracked jets.
No, he hasn't. Hold it and look.
Tom, there's the Polaris.
Uh-huh. And Bull Carson, Hogue, and Cully.
With 3 other guys. So this is their hideout.
Looks like.
Okay, so there they are, and here we are. 6 of them, 2 of us, and they've got guns. So what do we do?
I don't know yet. We've got to think of something. Hey, what's that? Roger, look.
Another rocket coming down. Tom, maybe... No, that's no solar guard ship. It's some old jalopy. It's landed. Tom, that must be Sam Harvey's ship.
Wait, Roger. The pilot's getting out.
Tom, it is Sam Harvey.
I got him, Cully. Take his ray gun.
Got it, Bull. Let me go, you fool.
You're the fool, looks like.
I come to make a deal, blast you. I know you're them escaped convicts. Now let me go.
Stop struggling. You can't get loose. That's a good boy, Pop. Now, what's this about a deal?
Look, I need fuel. You got lots of it. I'm rich. Found an asteroid back in Sector 7. Got titanium on it, plenty.
Sector 7, huh?
Yeah, you give me fuel to find my report now, and I'll give you half interest in the whole work.
Why should we take half when we can have it all?
Listen,
Listen yourself. We give you fuel, what's to prevent your telling the Solar Guard where to find it?
I won't do nothing like that.
You bet you won't.
What's going on here, Bull?
Hogue, we just found ourselves a titanium mine. We also found an old goat who knows too much for his own good. Take off your spacesuit, Grandpa.
What for?
You're going to take a little trip out into space. Maybe you can find another mine for yourself.
What a sense of humor, Bull. Okay, Whiskers, take off the suit.
You can't do that. I'll die.
Tough luck.
Bull, I don't like
Quit
it.
interfering, Hogue.
I won't allow it.
Cully, take it.
Let me go.
You've gotten in my way for the last time, Hogue.
You can't. I won't.
For the last time. Old Whiskers is going to have a partner in space.
Tom, those convicts are going to kill Harvey and Hogue.
I know, Roger.
What do we do? We can't just sit here.
No.
But if we show ourselves, they'll blast us to ribbons. Think of something, Tom. Think of something.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spacemen, send for your official Space Cadet goggles right away. These goggles, part of every Space Cadet's equipment, are so useful, you want to carry them and wear them every day. You know, Roger Manning says space goggles are just about the most important things a spaceman can have. Right, Roger?
You bet, Spaceman. When I'm working up on the radar bridge of the Polaris, there are a lot of flashing lights flickering around. Wearing space goggles protects my eyes. And you know, these aren't regular goggles. They're advanced design goggles for use out in space. One sweeping curved piece of clear-colored plastic, like the observation blister in a jet boat, or a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. Send for your space goggles right away. Space Academy Supply Headquarters has them all ready and waiting for you. If you're smart, You'll send for an extra pair, too, so you'll have them for emergencies.
Good idea, Roger. And now, spaceman, write this down. Here's how to get your official Space Cadet goggles. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hop to it, spaceman. Send for your space goggles right away. And remember, start off your day with a spaceman's breakfast. Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Trailing the escaped convicts to a bowl-shaped valley on their hideaway asteroid, Tom Corbett and Roger Manning see Sam Harvey, an old prospector, land in his rocket ship. Harvey tries to make a deal with the criminals, but they have other ideas. And when Hogue, one of the convicts, attempts to come to his rescue, Bull Carson goes for them both. As a terrific fight ensues, Tom and Roger see their chance.
What are we going to do, Tom? Now, while they're fighting, we've got to take over the Polaris.
You're space happy. It's way down there.
No gravity. We can get to it in 3 big jumps. Just pray that Hogue and Harvey keep them so busy they can't look our way.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right, here we go, boy, like kangaroos. One more jump, Roger, and we'll be at the Polaris.
Come on, Junior. Take off.
They spotted us.
They're shooting at us. Heat ray.
Yeah, but missing.
So far.
We're coming down right at the Polaris airlock. When we land, scramble in fast. Great. Here's the airlock. Get in.
Okay, Tom, I'll close up. They found the range with those guns.
Yeah, too late. The Polaris can take it.
Good old Polaris. Let's get to the deck guns, Tom.
Right. Get your helmet off. We can work better. I'll man this forward gun. You take the aft protector.
Okay. They're still trying with the heat ray.
Fire over their heads. That'll stop them.
That did it, Junior. Look, they're scrambling for cover like rats.
Fine. Just give them a blast now and then to remind them who's boss.
How about Sam Harvey? I don't want him harmed, even if he did try to make a deal with those crooks.
Dreams of wealth went to his head, I guess. We'll get him, Roger. Don't worry.
No?
In a few minutes. Now I want to get on the audio and tell Prison Rock to send us a paddy wagon. They'll be very glad to hear the revolt of the convicts is over.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett and the Space Cadets on Tuesday, when the cadets involved in the settlement of a great new planet are confronted by the vultures of space. Tune in, same time, same station for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Jan Merlin, Joseph Boland, James McCallion, and Cameron Andrews. Today's program was written by Ben Peter Freeman and directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Boys and girls, this is Tom Corbett. Our program, Tom Corbett Space Cadet, has received the annual award from the Boy Scouts of America as the Outstanding Family Entertainment of the Year. We sincerely appreciate this award and will continue to promote the fine examples and standards set by the Boy Scouts of America.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender, the bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
Tired from a strenuous weekend? Spring fever give you the wanderlust? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
You are hanging by your fingertips on the sheer face of an ice cliff, suspended 1,000 feet above instant death, with your strength running out, and with no chance for escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the cold loneliness of a glacier high in the Swiss Alps, and to a man who learned much about death, as told in C.E. Montague's grim story, Action. High in the Swiss Alps, well above 12,000 feet, a man clings with desperation to the frozen glass wall of the Chaliot Glacier, hands and feet jammed into shallow steps chopped in iron-hard ice. A cold wind drives a spray of dusty sleet along the overhanging wall, and the sun has fallen away among the crags to the west. Darkness lies 1 hour ahead. The man has climbed with painful care 1,000 feet up the glacier's face from the broken moraine at the foot, and is moved now onto the underside of a great bulge in the ice, a part of the wall which breaks out beyond the perpendicular, and the man is forced to hang from slots cut by his axe much as a sloth hangs from a tree branch. 12 more feet lie between him and the brow of the overhang. 6 more steps to be chopped out with the axe, and 1,000 feet of void space waits beneath him. The man is unable to lift his heavy axe for even one more stroke. He's tired, and he's 52 years old. No experienced mountaineer would ever attempt the west face of the Chaliot Glacier. And yet this man is an experienced mountaineer. But why? Why? What strange events have conspired to bring him along the path of his life and leave him hanging now in peril on the brink of eternity? Through what shadows has that path led him, and where are those who saw him pass? Can we ourselves move back along it, move back step by step against the river of time, move backward along the life path of Christopher Bell?
My name is Jean Valjour, and I am a guide for all the mountain trails on the Weisshorn and the Chaliorn. I talked with Mr. Bell this morning as he was leaving the village, though, of course, at the time I did not know that was his name. The season is over, you understand. Winter will come in another week or two, and most all the visitors are gone. So, you see, I was very surprised to hear a stranger call out to me in English.
Hello there.
Bonjour, monsieur. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Well, I'm glad to see there's at least one other early riser in the village besides myself.
Only a few people are left in the village, sir. It is the end of summer.
The end of summer. How well I know it. Oh, by the way, which of these paths takes me to the foot of the Chaliot?
The one on the left. But you will find no climbing there, sir. One arrives very soon at the glacier and can go no farther.
Except, of course, to climb up it.
The glacier? That is impossible. It has never been done.
Of course not. It's never been tried.
Well, there is not anyone who would be so foolish.
It isn't that. There are plenty of foolish people in the world. But even they hold on to their margin of safety.
Margin of safety?
Yes. The difference between the point where a man thinks he's reached his limit and the point where the limit really is.
Que diable racontez-vous? I'm afraid I do not understand this.
Oh, all right. Well, take a mountaineer such as yourself. Now, you look at a slope. You estimate the effort needed to climb it. Then you estimate your own endurance. And if there isn't a good-sized safety factor, you just don't make the climb.
But it would be foolish not to do so.
Oh, yes, I dare say. It's all tied up in the fear of death. Take that out of a man for one instant, and there's no telling what he might be able to do, or what limit he might reach.
And how should a man lose that fear?
He can't. He can't lose it. Has to be done for him by things outside.
He turned and left me then, this Mr. Bell. Walked up the path toward the glacier. That was early this morning, and I did not see him again. His talk with me made no sense, and I could not understand what he meant to do or why he was going to do it. I remember thinking, what a strange man. But I know really nothing more about him. I believe he arrived in the village only last night and took a room in the Zinal Inn.
My name is Greta de Gaspar, and I'm staying out the week here in Zinal to close up the inn for the winter. I have known Mr. Bell for the last 30 years. Always before, he came in the summer season for the climbing, and I was most surprised when he arrived last night. I opened one of the rooms and found something for him to eat, and then later we sat and talked in front of the fire in a big empty lounge.
This is very good coffee, Madame Gaspar.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bell. Had you let me know, I would have had everything ready for you, just like all the other times.
Like all other times, eh? But this one's a little different, Madame Gaspar. You might call it a special visit.
It is all so different now from the old days. Then it was you and your madame would come here, and it was Gaspar and I. And the summer seemed to last forever.
I thought everything would be forever when she was alive. Now I'm really alone in the world.
As I am. And it is not good to be alone. It gives one little reason for living, and makes one no longer afraid of dying.
Yes, but there are stronger reasons for that than just being alone.
Mr. Bell, you look so strange.
Huh?
Is there something troubling you?
Why, no. Not now. Oh, there may have been, but not now. Well, I should be leaving quite early in the morning for a climb, so I think I'll go on to bed. Good night, Madame Gaspar.
Mr. Gaspar, I left the inn this morning before I wakened, and I have not seen him again. I have never known him to act so strange before. I have no idea what the reason is, or what he may be planning to do. But I'm sure something is troubling him. Perhaps it may be something connected with his business back in London.
My name is Matthew Bruff. I've been chief clerk in Mr. Bell's London office over the past 25 years. I've always found him to be a considerate and dependable employer. I've never noticed anything you might call unusual about him until one day about 3 weeks ago. Mr. Bell entered the establishment a bit late, as I recall, and passed immediately into his own office without acknowledging my customary greeting. A little while afterward, he sent for me.
Well, Matthew, where do we go from here?
I can't say that I follow you, Mr. Bell.
Well, I mean, the company's on a steady footing, so if we use our heads at all, we don't stand much chance of losing anything.
Our position is quite secure.
On the other hand, we can't expect to do any more growing. We're through expanding. From now on, it's just a matter of operation.
A most enviable condition, sir.
Is it? There's nothing more to look forward to, nothing more to work for. So, as I said, where do we go from here? Matthew, I'm putting you in charge of the business, turning it over to you, effective this week.
Mr. Bell, you can't possibly mean that.
Oh, yes. I've just decided.
But what are you going to do?
I'm taking a trip. I'm going to Switzerland. Climb a mountain.
Oh? Oh, well, then, at least it's only temporary, just for whatever time you're gone.
That's right. It's for whatever time I'm gone. Just for whatever time I'm gone.
Before the end of the week, he had arranged all the necessary papers and had left London. I haven't heard a word from him since, though I presume he's somewhere in Switzerland, Actually, however, I haven't the faintest idea where Mr. Bell may be right at this moment.
Minutes pass on the glacier, and the shadows grow longer from the jagged peaks to the west of the Chaliot Glacier, and reach out with dark fingers toward the man who clings to the icy wall, while his pounding heart beats out the number of his time on Earth. Already those shadows have flowed into the awful depths below his swaying figure, blurring the sharp points of the tumbled rocks 1,000 feet down, and making the harsh void seem soft and inviting. The man's thoughts have grown as unwieldy as the heavy ice axe gripped in his hand. He keeps trying to remember that he is Christopher Bell, a human being, and not a part of this free and empty space. For he knows if he stops remembering that, he may forget all else too, and then let go.
There's been no reason for trying to locate Mr. Bell, since nothing of any importance has occurred during these 3 weeks. I'm sure he's quite all right. Only, one thing still puzzles me a bit. The remarkable change in him on that morning 3 weeks ago. I never heard him talk like that before. And whatever the reason for it, I'm quite sure it was something that happened that morning before he came to the office.
My name is John Huxley, and I've been a conductor on the Westminster route for some 14 years now. And during all that time, Mr. Bell has been a daily passenger of mine on the early morning inbound run. As I recall it, the first time anything you might say out of the way ever happened between us was one morning about 3 weeks ago. I saw Mr. Bell waiting at the usual place, so I signalled to the driver to stop. Oh, good morning, Mr. Bell.
Good morning. I'll be right there.
Here now, let me come down and help you, sir.
I'll make it. If you just take my arm, Mr. Huxford. My arm, please.
But I have taken your arm, Mr. Bell.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry.
Up we go now. There you are, sir.
Thank you. I had a bit of a shock this morning. I'm all right now.
Well, if it's all right now, that's fine, I say. Now, take hold of the strap there now.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, let me see. I have the fare here somewhere. Oh, yes, here you are.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you. I'm afraid you brought something home to mind.
I don't understand what you mean, sir.
Well, Mr. Huxford, have you ever had anyone take your arm and help you up a flight of steps?
No, and I might say that I hope the day never comes when I... well... I'm sorry, sir.
Not at all. Thank you, Mr. Huxford. Thank you very much.
I don't rightly know what was wrong with him, though it's certain that something was. I haven't seen him for nearly 3 weeks now. I can't imagine what it might have been what happened to him that morning before he got on the bus.
My name is Jenkins. I've been Mr. Bell's personal valet for the past 12 years and 7 months. The master's travelling somewhere on the continent just at present. Been gone something over 2 weeks now. Decided rather suddenly, I believe. In fact, I rather think something happened one morning about 3 weeks ago that caused him to make up his mind. I really haven't the faintest idea what it might have been. I can remember noticing a very strange look on his face when he came down to breakfast that morning, but thought nothing of it at the time.
Good morning, Jenkins.
Good morning, sir. I trust you had a pleasant night's rest.
Yes, I did, thanks, Jenkins.
Having the usual orange juice, toast, and tea?
No, I want nothing except some coffee.
Very well, sir. I'll bring it right away.
I can't let him find out. I can't let anyone find out about it. Maybe it's a little better now. Maybe it's going away. Maybe I'm giving it too much importance, but... No, it's still there. That same lack of feeling clear down the whole right side of my body. There. I can move my arm and leg all right. There's no feeling in them. They're numb. It's simply that at 52 years of age, I've had a light stroke.
Your coffee, sir.
Oh, thank you, Jenkins.
Would you care for something more, sir?
No, that's all.
If you'll pardon me, sir, you don't seem quite yourself this morning. I do hope you're not ill.
No. I'm all right, Jenkins.
I hope you won't mind my saying this, Mr. Bell, but you don't take very good care of yourself anymore.
Oh, please.
It's been years now since you had a checkup, not since the mistress passed away, in fact.
I'm quite all right, Jenkins. I'm quite all right.
Yes, sir. I'm relieved to hear it, sir. I'll bring your paper now, sir.
Good Lord. Is this what a man saves his life away for? To end up helpless, dependent on others? To be wheeled about, put out in the sun, taken in like some great fat lava? That's disgusting.
Pardon me, sir. I didn't quite hear you.
Oh, nothing, Jenkins.
Here's your paper, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Please call if you need anything else, sir. I'll be in the pantry.
I couldn't go on that way. I'd rather not go on. I've got to face it. This stroke is the first warning. There'll be others, worse ones. And in a short time, I'll be helpless. There must be some way out. Not suicide, but some way. There's got to be some way.
The icy wall hardens into cold, vitreous steel as the dust-born shadows chill its surface. The merciless ice is beginning to freeze the cramped joints of the man's fingers now, and the heavy axe swings idly at his belt, tracing a fumbling pattern on the thin air of the void. How much longer can he cling to those slots in the glacier's face? How much longer does he have to live? 30 seconds? A minute? What's the margin of safety now? And what does a man think of while his pulse beats slower and he waits to die?
Strange how I'm able to go on, hanging to this slope, clinging on to life. I can't feel another ounce of strength left in me. Strange, too, how it seems I could stay here forever, becoming part of the glacier itself, looking down at the rocks below and out across the peaks and the ice. I was right. Dying isn't so bad, really. Not when it's like this. Rather pleasant, in fact. It looks so soft down there. The shadows and the snow. The wind. Perhaps I could let go. Float out on the wind like an eagle. Or be blown along by it like drifting snow. Well, the sun's gone now. It will be full dark in a few minutes. Maybe I can hold on that long. But everything is dark. Even the snow and the ice. And who knows? Perhaps I'll watch the sunrise tomorrow and set again. And even beyond. Oh, no. I can't last even one full minute longer. I'm through. I'm finished. I can't even last a half. Huh? Chips of ice sliding over the edge. It's funny how a glacier sheds off that way. I suppose the difference in temperature between day and... Oh, wait. An ice axe. That was an axe. No other sound in the world like it. Fell from up above the overhang there. There must be somebody up there on the slope. Coming down from the top. There is. Wait. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello! That's a mountaineer's call for help. Someone's dropped his axe and he's in trouble up there. It's right above this bulge. If I can only... No, my throat. My throat's too dry. Well, 6 more steps to cut to reach the edge there. All right. 6 more steps. I was done in. I was finished. And now... 5 more steps. Good Lord, it's a woman, and there's a man upon the slope. Hold on up there.
What?
I'll be with you in a minute.
Ted, somebody's coming. There's someone down here.
Over the edge. Take it easy there. Everything's going to be all right.
Oh, thank heaven. I don't know where you came from, but thank heaven you're here.
Here, easy now. Let's get a step out for your feet. I'm just below the overhang there. The fellow up above, call out. He's got quite a voice on him.
It's my husband. Please hurry.
He's in now. Step out here in a second. You can put your feet on him. You get your breath. Then we'll tackle the slope.
All right.
There now. I'll scrape his ice away. Easy now. There. Oh, that's better, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you're all right now. Just lean there. When you feel like it, we'll go on up. Oh, my name is Christopher Bell, by the way.
I'm Anna Gerland.
How do you do?
Thank you. I thought we were done. I was cutting steps down ahead on the slope, and I slipped and dropped my axe. The rope held me, but neither of us dared to move.
Yes. Well, you're all right now. As soon as you rest up a minute, we'll cut some more steps back up the slope. Oh, you should have started down this way. You've never been able to pass that bulge.
Yes, I can see that now. Of course, it's harder to tell when you're moving down the slope.
Yes, I suppose it is.
You were coming up the slope, weren't you?
Yes, I came up from the foot.
Alone and without a rope. And you deliberately climb onto the underside of an overhanging wall.
Well, let's just say we're both foolhardy.
Is that what you call it?
If you've got your breath back now, suppose we start up the slope. Oh, here. I'd like to take my axe and cut the first step.
You trust me with it? After I dropped my own?
Oh, anybody could make a mistake like that, dropping an axe. Or climbing up under an overhang.
My name is Theodore Gerland, and I'm the husband of the woman who slipped and fell on the wall of the glacier. I'm a physician, formerly of Harley Street, London, though I've practiced in Paris for several years now. I met Mr. Bell when he and my wife reached the ice ledge where I stood waiting above them. I was not immediately aware of his trouble, but found out about it a short time later when we reached the rest hut at the top of the ridge. While my wife heated water for tea at the far side of the room, Bell and I fell into a much more personal conversation than strangers normally do. But this sometimes happens when people have been very close to death.
At any rate, Dr. Gerland, you can see how it is. The life of an invalid doesn't seem very appealing.
Tell me something, Mr. Bell. I gather you were pretty well done in when I called out there on the glacier. You couldn't lift a hand. Then how do you account for being able to chop 6 steps into that ice in a matter of some 5 minutes?
I don't know exactly. I was through. I couldn't have lasted 30 seconds more. But when I realized someone was in danger, I don't know, I forgot about it.
And this numbness, this lack of feeling in your right side, it didn't bother you?
No, I didn't notice. It isn't quite so bad now, as a matter of fact.
And there's your answer, Mr. Bell.
I don't believe I follow.
Action. When you were in action, working because you had a reason, living because you had to, because somebody was depending on you, then you were all right. Everything was back in its place again.
Oh, perhaps, but a man can't spend all his time climbing up a mountain to save someone's life.
Oh, I don't mean physical action, movement. Call it incentive, if you like. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
Incentive, eh?
That's right. It's the one top pressure that keeps life moving and growing. And it's what you need.
Well, it's an interesting theory, Doctor.
But it's only a theory, eh?
I'll have the tea ready in a moment. Is anybody interested?
I am, my dear. Lucky we brought it.
If no one minds, I believe I'll have a turn outside while we're waiting.
Of course not. Only be careful out there in the dark. The ridge breaks off pretty sharply here.
Oh, yes, I'll be careful. Oh, Dr. Gerland.
Yes?
If things were turned around, I wonder if it would be any more than just a theory to you.
Mr. Bell, where are you?
I'm over here, Mrs. Gerland.
Beautiful, isn't it? With the stars so clear and bright.
Yes. Well, there won't be any more clear nights before the winter storms.
It would be a shame to give it up, you and I.
What do you mean?
I've got to say this quickly, because I don't want my husband to know. We're not the kind who commit suicide, you and I. But I think we understand each other.
Well, you'll have to say more than that.
You deliberately climbed into a dead end
out on that glacier, deliberately extended your safety margin beyond all possible limits, didn't you?
What do you mean, we understand each other?
Because I did the same thing. I went ahead. I picked that route down the slope.
But
No, please wait. In 30 seconds, I would have cut myself loose from that rope. Oh, we went to an awful lot of trouble so we wouldn't have to call it suicide, didn't we?
You? But why?
I have a brain condition. There's no point in going into it, but it's incurable. And sooner or later, at any moment, I shall go blind.
Oh, no.
My husband doesn't know about it, and I don't want him to. Mr. Bell.
Yes?
I'll make a bargain with you.
What sort of bargain?
I'm not brave, really. To go on living, I need something to cling to. I need to know all the time that there's someone else with courage, too. Mr. Bell, I'll go on living if you will.
I'd say you're amazingly brave.
If I were, I could do it alone, without having to make myself dependent on you and your courage.
But that sort of thing could work both ways. I wouldn't dare let you down.
Nor could I you. Do you want to make the bargain? Shall we go on living, Mr. Bell?
As I said before, I am Dr. Theodore Gerland. And I met Mr. Bell some 3 hours ago on the Chaliot Glacier. At the moment, he's outside the hut a few yards away talking to my wife. I can hear the sound of their voices, but I can't make out the words. However, I know what they're talking about, what his answer would be. My wife and I discussed that before she went out to join him. You may have heard of my wife, incidentally, though it would likely have been under the stage name she uses in the Paris theater. You see, she's quite a talented actress.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight brought you Action by C.E. Montague, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, and featuring Joseph Kearns as Christopher Bell and Eric Rolfe as the voice, with Louis Van Rooten as Dr. Golan, Marta Mitrovich as Greta, Jeff Corey as Bruff, Ray Lawrence as Huxford, Barry Kroger as Jenkins, and Joan Banks as Mrs. Golan. The musical score was conceived and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week.
You are in mid-ocean, aboard a Jinx ship. Already 3 men have died, and you know that some malignant force is aimed at you, and you cannot escape.
Next week, Escape with Joseph Conrad's great story, The Brute. Good night, then, until the same time next week, when we again offer you Escape. This is CBS, where 99 million people gather every week, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief
of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are trying to escape from a mansion on the planet Venus, where they're being held prisoners by Emil Gargoff, leader of the Cobra Gang. Suddenly, Happy moves toward a large cabinet and opens it.
Wow, is this a break, Commander? Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Happy.
Something just made me go to this cabinet. A real strong hunch.
I know, Hap. Take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Well, yes, sir. Well, I'm not arguing, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoff?
All right, it doesn't matter. Let's get careful, Hap. You're pointing the gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
I'm trying to. Commander, my finger is squeezing the trigger. I can't stop it.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Borodeck. Plenty delicious, plenty good. Yes, sir, Space Patrollers. Those are the words I use when I talk about rice checks. Now, Space Patroller, how about you?
Who, me?
That's right. What words would you use to tell me how good rice checks taste?
Super keen and senior, George. That's the way rice checks taste to me, Captain Tufeld.
Swell. And hey, how about that modern bite size that rice checks has? What do you say about that?
Just right for a bite with a real smooth fit for a spoon.
And that's great. Now you have yourself a good, nourishing breakfast with rice checks, and what happens? That's it, Space Patroller. Yes, sir, gang, that's exactly the kind of blast-off you get after a nourishing breakfast with rice checks. But any way you say it, any way you eat them, out of the bowl or out of the box, rice checks are tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go.
For sweet whole wheat, try Wheat Chex.
Look for rice checks and wheat checks in the red and white checkerboard package with a full-color picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the free Space Patrol trading card inside.
Checks, rice or wheat, real neat.
And now today's Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Borodeck. On 10 planets, Space Patrol agents are ready to pounce upon known members of the Cobra Gang. But the syndicate of criminals appears to have suspended all operations, and its shrewd leader, Emil Gargoff, has gone into hiding. The name of the dread organization seems to have been dropped completely from public minds. Certainly, it's far from the minds of 2 men who sit chatting in a comfortable mansion on the outskirts of Venus City. One is the wealthy and elderly Andrew Means, retired interplanetary financier. The other is his host, the youthful-appearing Dr. Clement Borodeck, a mysterious yet popular figure in United Planet society. After a lengthy discussion, Andrew Means suddenly turns to Dr. Borodeck.
Dr. Borodeck, I want to know your secret.
Secret? What secret?
The secret that has enabled you to live for centuries.
Mr. Means, are you sure you feel well?
Now, don't try to change the subject. You're a man of mystery, Dr. Borodeck. You live well. Your fine mansion here, your splendid laboratory, the freedom to travel. Now, I don't know how you get your money, and I don't care. But you do have something that I want. The secret of a long life. Life 2 or 3 times beyond the normal span.
Mr. Means, a man of your wisdom certainly can't fall for this superstitious gossip about me.
Doctor, I've had you investigated. I've done some of it directly in my talks with you. No man could know so much about so many things unless he had lived through them.
I happen to have a deep curiosity and a photographic memory, that's all.
Dr. Borodeck, I have documents to prove that you were living 125 years ago. Yet, today you could pass for 35. I will pay you for that secret.
Really, I don't know whether to be flattered or insulted.
Now, Doctor, I'm an old man. With the best of care and medical attention, I can't expect to live many more years. But you can prolong my life, just as you have prolonged your own. Tell me how, and I'll give you anything you ask.
I'm sorry, Mr. Means, but you let your fears and your desires deceive you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an experiment underway in my laboratory that requires my attention.
In his central office at Space Patrol headquarters on the man-made planet Terra, Commander Corey goes over reports from Space Patrol agents with Cadet Happy.
Well, from the looks of these reports, the Cobra Gang certainly seems to have gone out of business.
Yes, sir. Maybe we finally scared Gargoff into quitting.
He may have quit, but I haven't.
Yeah, but unless Gargoth does something or shows himself, how can we get him?
There are 2 reports here that merit looking into, Happy. A man of Gargoth's description was seen in Rectory City with a certain Dr. Borodeck.
Dr. Borodeck? Who's he?
Well, my personal opinion is that he's a fraud. He makes a specialty of getting into the good graces of important people.
Oh, hobnobbing with the elite, huh?
Yes, I think he's a confidence man, but he works so smoothly we've never been able to get anything on him.
Well, maybe Borodeck knows where Gargoth is.
Borodeck is the kind of a crook that has to appear respectable in order to operate. He might tell us what he knows about Gargoth, providing we convince him his own reputation is in danger.
Well, where's this Dr. Borodeck now, Commander?
He's got a fancy estate outside Venus City.
Oh, and we were blasting off for Venus tomorrow anyway.
Right. We just arranged to drop in on Dr. Borodeck.
In his mansion on Venus, Dr. Clement Borodeck walks briskly down the corridor leading toward his laboratory. But as he enters the room, his placidly confident face assumes an expression of worry and distrust. Seated before a control panel, a huge man glowers at a series of viewscope screens, each mirroring a view of a room in the huge house. As the big man turns, Dr. Borodeck's face suddenly changes. He smiles pleasantly.
Well, I see you figured out the controls for yourself, Mr. Gargoth.
Mighty clever setup, Borodeck. So while you're in this lab, you can see what's going on anywhere in the building.
Oh, I frequently have guests. It helps me maintain my reputation for being able to see into the past and into the future, just by knowing what's going on in the present.
Yes. I've just watched the way you handle Andrew Means. I'm afraid you went too far, Borodeck. You practically insulted him.
Of course. Nobody dares insult Andrew Means. When someone does, he's intrigued. Especially when that person has something Means wants.
Then you think he'll be back with another offer?
Of course. He's back in his suite in Venus City Hotel, brooding over the fact that I have the secret of long life. The secret he wants more than anything in the universe.
Yes. I'm amazed that he fell for the fantastic idea. He actually thinks you're 200 years old.
Why shouldn't he believe it? Didn't we make sure that his agents would find evidence of it?
How much do you think he'll pay for your secret?
If you'll let me work with him, all he has, but it'll take time.
How much time?
A month, perhaps?
I can't wait. If you can get me 1 million credits within a week, I'll give you a quarter of it.
Make it 300,000, and I'll include my latest invention, the robot suit.
Look, Borodeck, let's not try to bargain. I need a lot of money, quick. You can get it from Andrew Means without involving the Cobra Gang. But you couldn't get it from Means without my connections, my agents who planted the evidence of your immortal youth. Now, shall we quit stalling?
All right, Mr. Gargoth, forget the robot suit. I can easily find other buyers. I'll settle for a quarter of anything I get from Andrew Means.
Good. Borodeck, tell me the truth. Can you actually control the actions of anyone wearing that robot suit?
Of course. If you like, I'll show you how it works. We might even use it on Andrew Means.
How?
Have you thought of what will happen after Means buys my secret of long life and finds that he's still growing older?
What do we care? You can tell him he waited too long to use it.
That won't satisfy Andrew Means. He'll charge he's been swindled. There'll be an investigation.
Yes, you're right. Means has the influence to cause plenty of trouble. We've got to get rid of him before he knows whether your big secret is a fake or not.
Exactly. And with my robot suit, we can make it look as though Means met with a fatal accident through his own carelessness.
You mean we can make him do something that's entirely against his will?
Yes. The strongest will in the universe is powerless against the force that controls my robot suit.
Show me how it works, Dr. Borodeck.
An hour after they arrive at Venus City, Buzz, Corey, and Cadet Happy have complete reports from Space Patrol agents operating in the capital city of the planet Venus. In a special office at Venus City headquarters, Buzz outlines a plan to Happy.
As far as Borodeck is concerned, we'll be there to find out about a former associate of his, Anton Tolver.
Then you can bring up Gargoth sort of incidentally.
Yes, but even forgetting Gargoth for the moment, we might be able to stop one of Borodeck's dirty deals.
What do you mean, sir?
A very prominent and influential man has been visiting Borodeck regularly over the past few weeks. He's the type of man who ordinarily would spot Borodeck as a crook right off the bat and avoid him, but the doctor seems to have him fascinated.
Who is the man, sir?
An elderly retired businessman, Happy. Andrew Means. While he was active, he never had time to worry about himself, but now he keeps going from doctor to doctor, from specialist to specialist.
Is he sick?
No, he's in perfect health. But he has an obsession, Happy. He has offered doctors fabulous sums of money for every year they would guarantee to keep him alive. Naturally, no legitimate doctor has accepted this offer, but Borodeck is just the type who might prey upon the fears of a worried old man. Now, come on, Hap. Let's go out and have a talk with Dr. Borodeck.
Meantime, in the library of Dr. Borodeck's estate, Borodeck listens while Andrew Means continues an urgent plea that's been going on for 3 hours.
It isn't fair, Borodeck. It just isn't fair. Now look at me. I haven't begged for anything in my life. But I'm begging you to sell me your secret. Sell me your secret.
Mr. Means, assuming for the moment that an extended lifespan were possible, what makes you think you would enjoy it?
What's that to you? Well, we learn as we live, don't we? But just when we learn to enjoy life to its fullest, it's taken away from us. Borodeck, people think of me as a fairly good man. Isn't that true?
Yes, Mr. Means. Quite good.
Well, I've made mistakes. Give me a chance to correct them. Extend my life, Dr. Borodeck. What will you lose?
All right, Mr. Means. What do you offer?
1 million credits.
When can you get the money?
I can have it here in 3 hours.
Good. When you get back, I'll administer the treatment.
Dr. Borodeck is apparently alone in his mansion on Venus City when Commander Corey and Cadet Happy arrive to question him. The doctor is quite at ease as Buzz and Happy stand in the same library where an hour before the elderly Andrew Means pleaded his cause.
Of course, Commander, I remember this Anton Tolver, but he hasn't worked for me since, a year ago, on Saturn, I think it was.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. Oh, there's something else I wanted to ask.
Yes, Commander?
Where is Emil Garga?
Emil Garga?
The man you were seen with in Mercury City 12 days ago.
I don't seem to recall Emil Garga.
And you've never heard of the Cobra Gang?
Yes, I've heard of it. But then, Commander, you have your sphere of interest and activities, and I have mine.
Andrew Means, for example.
Just what do you mean by that?
I understand Mr. Means has been visiting you recently.
Yes, he has.
Professionally?
Commander, I don't think that's any of your business.
Well, since you're so frank, I don't suppose you'd object to a brainograph test at Venus City headquarters.
A brainograph test? On what?
Your qualifications to be called doctor and your knowledge of Garga. Will you come with me?
Well, I
have a warrant, Doctor. How about it?
Really, this is most extraordinary.
Get your hands up, Corey. You too, Cadet.
That voice, Commander. It's Gargoyle.
That's right, and I've got a ray gun here, so don't try anything.
Oh, God. From your past performances, I know you aren't showing up to rescue your pal Borodeck. You could have escaped while I was taking him to headquarters. Apparently, you need time to put over a deal. A deal involving Andrew Means, perhaps.
You're pretty smart, Corey. Yes, Means will be here very soon.
Mr. Gargoyle.
Shut up, Borodeck. I'll handle this. Yes, Corey, when Means shows up, you'll have 1 million credits for me. Then I'll get rid of him. And you and the cadet will get the blame for it.
Oh, is that so?
I warned you, Corey. Borodeck, get Corey and the cadet out of the library before Andrew Means arrives. Get them into the robot suits.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles reporting on the first airplane with swept-back wings used in the U.S. Air Force, North American's F-86 Sabre jet fighter. In a moment, we'll hear from George Welch, the famous test pilot of the Sabre jet. The Sabre is 37 feet long, weight 8 tons. Wings are swept back at a 35-degree angle. Top speed more than 650 miles per hour. Now, George Welch recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
I was lucky enough to fly the F-86 Sabre jet for the first time. The first time up or the 50th, every flight is important. That's why I have to keep in top shape. I like to eat good food with lots of energy in it. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex meet that test, and they taste exactly right. I think you'll like them, too.
Make sure you keep yourself ready for action, the way George Welch and lots of other famous test pilots do. Eat Rice Chex or Wheat Chex every morning. The cereals that are tops 3 ways. Tops for taste, for size, for real get up and go. That's Chex, wheat or rice. And remember, they're tops with America's top pilots. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, The Secret of Dr. Borodeck. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have visited the mansion of Dr. Borodeck in Venus City, not knowing that the doctor is shielding Emil Gargoth, the head of the Cobra gang. When Buzz asked Borodeck to submit to a brainograph test at headquarters, Gargoth suddenly appeared and knocked Buzz and Happy out with blast from a ray gun. Right now, it's an hour later. Buzz and Happy find themselves prisoners in the small, locked room.
Commander, look how we're dressed.
I was just noticing, Happy.
What did Gargoth do with our uniforms?
Evidently, his plan depends on our not looking like space patrollers.
Plan?
Remember what he said just before he put us to sleep with the ray gun? He's going to use us to get rid of Andrew Means.
Well, sure, but how's this outfit going to help?
I don't know. Let's try getting out of here.
Locked.
Luckily, Gargoth didn't think of removing my ring.
Uh-oh, the electronic key.
Right. It's an electronic lock on the door. This ring may solve the combination. I'll try it. A few turns of the settings ought to tell the story.
It worked.
Yes, the door's open. Now remember, Hap, our job is to protect Andrew Means.
Yes, sir, but what with? We're unarmed.
We'll find something. Come on.
Borodeck, why are you puttering around here in the lab?
Just getting the props ready for the final act, Mr. Gargoth.
What do you mean?
I want Andrew Means to be impressed when he sees the miraculous potion that will make him live indefinitely. Here, what do you think of it?
Looks all right, but then anything would do.
I can't agree, Mr. Gargoth. When a man is paying 1 million credits for a few drops of liquid, he should get his money's worth. You'll note that the liquid glows. Isn't that a beautiful violet light?
Yes. Is it poisonous?
Naturally, and quite sudden and painless. Andrew Means will never know he's been swindled.
And when Means is finished, we force Corey and the cadet to carry him out.
And over the cliff.
You're sure you can control their movements to that extent?
You'll see.
Speaking of Corey, he and the cadet should be conscious by now.
I'll check. Let's turn on the viewscope monitor.
They're gone. They got out of the room.
Mr. Gargoth, bring that robot suit control box here quickly while I try to locate Corey on the other screens.
All right.
Up there. There. There they are, in the downstairs hall.
Here's the control box.
You work it, Mr. Gargoth, just for practice. Whatever you do, keep them from going near that cabinet. I've got some weapons stashed in it.
They're just looking around now. Can we hear what they're saying?
Yes, and after we get them under control, you can talk to them. Just throw these 2 switches.
Look, Borodeck. You go down to the library and get ready for Andrew Means. I'll handle Corey and the cadet.
What do you have in mind, Mr. Gargoth?
Just leave things to me.
All right. You understand the robot suit controls, don't you? These dials and levers operate the cadet suit. The other set works Corey's.
Yes, I know. Watch me make the cadet turn to the left.
You turn it the wrong way. He's headed right for the cabinet. Here.
Well, I can do it. Just get out and let me alone.
All right, Mr. Gargoth, sure. I wish I knew the layout of this house. Since we're unarmed, we've got to catch a Gargoth and Borodeck by surprise.
I hope we get them before they get Andrew Means.
Happy, what are you doing?
Going to this cabinet, I guess. Hey, this is a break, Commander. Look what's in the cabinet. Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Hap.
Hey, something just made me go to this cabinet. A real strong hunch.
No, Hap, take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Oh, well, yes, sir. I'm not arguing with you, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoth?
All right, it doesn't matter. I'd hate to have to use a blaster, even on Gargoth. Be careful, Hap. You're putting that gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
Well, I'm trying to, but... Commander, my finger's squeezing the trigger. I can't stop it. Smoking rockets. Sure lucky you ducked, Commander. I'm sorry.
What in the universe came over you, Happy?
Well, I don't know. It was like something had hold of my arm. Commander, it's happening again.
This time you won't be able to duck, Corey.
Gargoth.
That's right. I'm in Borodeck's lab, right above you, watching you through a viewscope. And I can control every move you make. You're my puppets.
It's these suits. I can feel the fabric tightening on my legs.
That's right, Commander. You and the cadet are wearing Dr. Borodeck's robot suits. Under electronic impulses, the fibers contract just like muscles. I haven't had enough practice yet to control both suits at once, so I'll merely keep you lying down on the floor, Commander. Aim, Cadet.
Happy, step on that strip of rug. Move quickly.
Squeeze the trigger.
Look out, Commander!
Sorry I had to yank the carpet out from under your hat.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
You're only delaying things, Commander. And it won't do you any good to grab Happy's arm. I can still make him point the gun at you.
Happy, I've spotted the viewscope camera. The lens is right under that map of Venus on the wall.
I see it.
We tend to struggle. When he aims right, pull the trigger. Let go of that gun, Happy.
He can't let go, Commander. See, I'm easily controlling his arm. Lower. Lower. The gun is just above your head now. Cadet, you clumsy fool! You've destroyed the viewscope camera. It's not going to help you any. I can't see you, but I can keep you from moving until Borodeck and I are ready for you.
My legs, I can't move them.
So these controls. There. That'll hold the two of you. Oh, Commander, for your information, the viewscope screen from the library shows that Andrew Means has arrived. Borodeck and I arranged for you to dispose of him and yourselves. See you later, gentlemen.
Wow. We're really in a spot.
Yes. We've got to think of a way to break the control of these suits.
Yeah, but the control is up in the lab, and we can't move.
Must be a control center in the suit itself. A unit that picks up the impulses from the control transmitter.
But where could it be? This whole suit is just like smooth fabric.
Except across the chest. It's built up heavier there. Hap, can you move at all?
Well, I could turn my body from the hips up. That's all.
Good. I'll try to roll over on my back. And you swing down hard on my chest.
And break the controls.
It's worth a try. All right, Hap. Swing hard with your fist. Try it again.
You sure you won't change your mind, Mr. Means?
Now, you agreed to sell me some of the potion, Dr. Borodeck. I've got the money right here. Now, surely you aren't going to miss a few drops. After all, I'm giving you 1,000,000 credits.
Well, very well. Inside this Endurium canister is a sealed flask.
Why, it glows.
Yes, Mr. Means. It glows with an immortal light.
What a pity there is so little of it.
You see now why I'm reluctant to part with even a few drops.
What if something happens to me on the way back to the city? Suppose the plastic container breaks. Do you have an Endurium container?
I think I can find one in my lab. But to be safe, why don't you drink a few drops here? Now.
Why, it's an excellent idea.
There's a small glass. I'll pour a few drops in it. Here, Mr. Means.
Careful. Thank you. Now, I just drink this. Is that right?
That's right. To a long life, Mr. Means.
Don't drink that, Mr. Means. Corey! Now, look, what you've done, you spilled it. The most precious fluid in the universe.
Happy, watch Borodeck.
Yes, sir.
What's the meaning of this?
Calm down, Mr. Means.
Calm down, indeed, when the Space Patrolers have disarmed.
Mr. Means, I'm Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol.
You think I'm a fool?
I do, Mr. Means. You're all fools.
Gargle!
Don't move, Cadet. You either, Corey, or you get this blast gun.
Gargot, I thought you said you had him under control.
The control must have gotten out of adjustment. I brought it down here for you to test.
All right, keep him covered.
Dr. Borodeck, you mean this really is Commander Corey?
That's right, Means. He almost upset our plans. That secret liquid is just the opposite of a life potion.
If one drop of that stuff had touched your tongue, you'd be lying there on the floor. But if this robot suit control mechanism works, your finish will be more exciting.
Want to carry out our original plan then, Mr. Gargot?
Yes. We'll force Corey and the cadet to walk over the cliff carrying Means.
You can't do that. You can't.
For 1,000,000 credits, Mr. Means, I could do anything. Try the control, Borodeck. Make the cadet walk toward Means.
Fight it, Happy. The way I told you to in the other room.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir.
It's working. He's straining against the control.
What is he going to do?
He's going to pick you up, Means. Borodeck, control Corey.
The power in that robot suit, the cadet can lift Means with one arm. But I'll control Corey, too, just to show you how it's done.
That's it. You've got them both moving now, like puppets.
Okay, Hap, rush them. Okay, Hap, that does it. Pick up that blast gun.
Yes, sir.
Borodeck, why did you cut the control?
He didn't. We did. We broke him.
All right, Mr. Means. That stack of money is yours, I believe. Take it and hold on to it.
No, Commander. I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm going to give it away. This man here promised that this money would ensure me a long life.
I'm sorry, Mr. Means. This must be a disappointment to you.
No, not at all, Commander. In laboratories all over the solar system, legitimate scientists are working on methods to prolong life for everyone. This money is going to help them.
It's a fine, generous idea, Mr. Means.
I never did a generous thing in my life. I'm going out of retirement and make more money for this research. I'll see that those scientists get results, even if I have to stand over them for the next 100 years.
You know, Mr. Means, I believe you will.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Hiya, Space Patrollers. Cadet Happy here. You know, the Commander and I have been telling you all along that checks are tops for get up and go. So if you haven't tried them yet, grab yourself a good, nourishing breakfast in the morning with a bowl full of rice checks or wheat checks, and you'll see what we mean. Use just cream and sugar or slice up a big banana over them. Eat up, and zowie, you're up and at 'em like a real Space Patroller. But say, listen, here's another way I like to eat checks, right out of the box, anytime I get hungry. Yes, sir, gang, checks are top for snacks because they're tops for taste. Smoking rockets, nothing beats that swell toasted taste. Real keen and crispy delicious. And size? Man, oh man, checks are tops for size. Their modern bite-sized design is just right for easy eating. So, Space Patrollers, anytime you get hungry, reach for that red and white checkerboard package of checks. Pack them in your pockets before you blast off for play. Pack them in your lunchbox for a swell recess snack time. Checks, rice or wheat, tops for taste, for size, for get up and go, and tops for snacks, too. Space Patrollers, maybe you think you don't like salads. Well, here are some that are really different. One's called Funny Bunny Salad. Fun to look at, neat to eat. Made of cling peaches and cottage cheese. Teamed up with crispy, crunchy rye crisp. Smoking rockets, it's delicious. Tell Mom to look for these swell salad recipes and the fixings for them at her grocer's.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and After are in a surface car speeding down a highway toward Lowell City on the planet Mars.
Looks like we're going to make it, Commander. If anyone was going to stop us, well, they've lost their chance. Commander, look!
I see it, Hap. It's an atmosphere ship, and it's swooping down right on top of us.
The Cobra gang. And there's no way we can fight them off.
What they're waiting for. If that ship is armed, they're close enough to blast us to pieces.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Magnetic holding field.
Smoking rockets are picking up the car.
Will help us. If they cut that field, we'll crash.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story, The Zero Ray, when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Stephen Robertson, and Bela Kovach. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol!
Space Patrollers, this is Commander Corey. Whenever fires, floods, or any disaster strikes your town, the Red Cross is right there to answer your call for help. Now, the Red Cross is calling on you to help keep this wonderful service rolling. I want all of you to answer the Red Cross call. Give your dimes and nickels to the 1954 Campaign Fund.
Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.